evening, everybody, and welcome to the December 3rd meeting of the Hyde Park Planning Board. If you could all please rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our first item on the agenda tonight is a new public hearing. This is for the Camp Victory Lake Auditorium. And we have the birthday boy in attendance. May I get a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Welcome.
Hello.
Somebody brought you a cup.
Yeah, you guys are the best. Again, I don't get this at any planning board meeting, so I really appreciate it. It makes it really pleasant. So I'm just going to reintroduce the project for the public's benefit, because I'm sure you guys all know what's up. But we're here tonight to discuss a 3,500 square foot addition off of an existing auditorium structure at the Camp Victory Lake site. We are calling this phase 0 because the modifications are to rectify a little overzealousness in constructing some improvements without permission. So what we're here tonight is to legalize those improvements and bring the building into building code compliance with this addition. The addition itself is going to provide an auditorium or an atrium space for entry, as well as bathrooms, which are required by New York State Building Code. The project also includes the installation of a sprinkler system for this structure, which includes a tank, which we are proposing to bury. We're also going to be formalizing 2 open-air pavilions on the outside of the structure, which are already there. So one of them will have to be removed because of building code and then reconstructed, but that's no big deal. And we're also designing a small parking area and a stormwater management system that will treat and manage stormwater generated by the existing facilities and the proposed facilities. So as you'll notice that in the comment letters, this is all part of the master development plan prepared for the camp that was approved previous years. So we've incorporated these improvements as part of that master plan. And I know that I owe you guys some revisions to the plan. I had missed the deadline, so I figured, you know what? I'm not going to put in a half a submission. I'm going to wait, see if there's any public comment.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you, thank you.
I have to look at half submissions too, so.
That's how you get a cupcake.
Yeah.
That's why that cupcake is
To all
there.
of you out there.
So I figured, let's get any public comment tonight so I can revise the plans accordingly and resubmit everything that's addressing all the comments from the board, their consultants, the fire department, and any public comment we receive tonight. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you or the public may have, and that's it.
Thank you so much for that,
Thank you.
that wonderful overview. And we do appreciate that you're now going to give us a full submission. I'm going to just take a swing around and see where the comments are. Tad, any comments on this?
No comments.
Ms. Franson?
We have our comments from our memo that'll get addressed. Thank
Okay.
you.
Ms. Polidoro?
No comments.
Mr. Tuttle?
I have no comments.
Ms. Wasser?
No comments.
Mr. Oliver?
No comments.
Ms. Lee?
Happy birthday, no comments.
Thank you.
And Mr. Gercio? No comments. Okay, so nothing here. I would like at this time to ask, are there any members of the audience who may have signed up to speak to this application? Ms. Whitman, did we have anybody sign up for this?
Any more noise?
So?
I'm here.
Yay. No one signed up,
Any
okay.
of our public hearings.
Okay,
All right.
all right.
Well, that makes revising it easy.
There you go. Not a lot of comments to incorporate. So we're looking to adjourn the public hearing. What would you like?
I guess it would be the January 8th meeting.
7th?
7th? Darn, I was one day off. Jan 7th?
Okay. May I get a motion to adjourn the public hearing for Camp Victory Lake Auditorium to January 7th, 2026.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you for coming out.
Awesome.
Hopefully you have the rest of the night free and you can have yourself a wonderful dinner and a cupcake.
And a cupcake. Well, thank you again, everyone. I really appreciate it. And
That's right.
I'll see you on Jan 7th.
All right.
Happy birthday.
Thanks,
Happy
everyone.
birthday.
Yes, I'm sorry.
First on the agenda,
I know.
being out at 6:05.
I
Right?
know, this is so speedy. Cool.
All right,
Thanks, everyone.
don't drop by.
Like everything.
This is my first cupcake.
Our next item on the agenda is another new public hearing. This is for the Haviland Mobile Home Park Lot merger and site plan. May I get a motion to open the public hearing, please?
So moved.
Second.
And I think we might have to do that for both of them, right?
We said it together.
Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, welcome back.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
I'm Jason Pittengaro from Pittengaro and Doach, and with me tonight is Lena Lee from Pittengaro and Doach. We have been representing Haviland Mobile Home Park, which is a project to really just make general overall improvements throughout the mobile home park. We have just finished with the improvements to the water treatment plant, which were required or requested at least by Dutchess County Water and Health Department, and that's been accepted and is now operational. And we've also completed wetlands delineation that redefined the wetlands boundary in accordance with the new New York State DEC regulations. And we've done a number of other things, including work to consolidate the various parks into one to just allow for better planning and operations of the facility and to comply with the requests of the town. So we're here tonight for a public hearing to hear any comments from the public. There really isn't, again, much new construction that's proposed. There's the relocation of two existing mobiles that will be removed from floodplain area, and when they are relocated, will be out of floodplain area. Prior to constructing those homes, we will obtain separately DEC approval for disturbance of adjacent areas with grading that will need to be occurred to incorporate those outside of the floodplain. And besides that, there's really no new construction throughout the site. We had previously obtained approval to build the water treatment plant itself, which was required, and again, that is complete at this point.
Excellent. So basically, you're trying to take, how long has this park been around?
This park has been around, I would guess since the 60s. I'm not 100% sure, but I would say from the vintage of some of the improvements there, I would say probably sometime.
Okay.
Like that.
So you're taking an old park and trying to bring it into compliance with the new laws and the new site standards and DEC and make it hopefully less prone to, any of the homes less prone to flooding, right?
Sure, and also just generally improving the overall character of the park, in which obviously that's an improvement for the community, and it's an improvement for the ownership entity as well. It helps attract residents and just as an overall improvement.
Excellent, thank you. We appreciate having you in our town. I'm going to start. Did you have anything that you wanted to show us tonight, or?
I believe we've addressed the majority of the comments.
I know last time we were walking through a lot of the items on the map, and I know Tad was looking at a couple of sites, making sure that she knew exactly where some of these changes were happening.
Yep, I think Tad might have had a few comments at when we brought the plans in that she had emailed over to Lena, which I certainly think could be addressed, hopefully as a condition of approval. I think we've addressed the majority of the engineer's comments, as he has noted. I think we've addressed the planning comments as well. We are open to consideration in terms of how monumentation, if there's some difference from how we've shown it, could be placed, but would gladly have the project surveyor work with.
It's not a long list, in other words, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Well, let's start with Tad. Tad, do you have any comments on here?
The only thing that I have not finished looking at is the relocated two homes. Yeah. The last I saw, I wasn't sure how the grading was going to not impact I think it's the wetland buffer.
Okay. It had to do with the size of it? The size of the,
I got to look at all that
okay,
stuff.
all right.
Just in regards to that, I do think there will be some impact to the buffer, and we acknowledge that, and we'll make a separate permit application to DEC for that prior to doing any work on those sites.
Thank you.
Do that now.
Right, what's the order of operations?
Yeah, how do we do that?
Yeah, right, oh,
Hasn't that been figured out already, where you just like realized you needed a DEC permit?
Well, no, it hasn't been figured out because we just finished the delineation. So what we would ask is that be a condition of occupying or using those two sites of the approval.
Normally, we wait to see what DEC says, because otherwise you have to come back and amend your site plan application.
So it has been discussed with them during the walk that we did, and we do not feel from that walk and the recent delineation that we're going to have any issue with that. But again, that's up to, I guess,
well, yeah, and it can never hurt to maybe just reach out and verify
Sure.
that. We wouldn't want you to get stuck waiting to get through their process for some of these items
No,
and
until the permit's issued.
have you come back, I don't know, either to extend the site plans or make any other changes, so.
Yeah, I think we can, so usually we get something from DEC that says conceptually they're okay with how you've shown on the plan.
Yeah.
But ultimately, any approval will be conditioned on getting the permit. So I don't know that the plans would be signed until the permit's issued. But at least from a perspective of getting to a decision, it's just useful to have something from DEC saying they're not going to have a major issue with what's being shown.
We would be okay with that if we could move forward in that direction.
Yep,
I think we could obtain,
I think that helps both parties, actually.
sure, I agree, and I think we could obtain the acknowledgement rather quickly from them.
Okay. Anything else, Ms. Moss? Okay. Ms. Branson?
So
Thank you, by the way.
you did respond to my comments from my November memo in your updated submission, and the wetlands is, for me, the primary open item, because that really then influences other things. But we'll do a final review, but I think a lot of what we had raised was addressed. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Sotero?
Yeah, we just had a few outstanding, things, nothing, major. The plat set was rearranged from the prior submission, so now it's in order. And as Jason said, this is going to have to be signed by a New York State licensed surveyor, not the engineer. So that'll be done before the chairperson signs the map. And then Jason mentioned about monumentation. We normally look for one or two monuments. This site may be a little tough, but why don't Tad and I come up with a couple locations? We'll send it to you, and then you can add it to the plat. And then one of our conditions of approval is that the monuments have to be put in before the chairperson signs the plat, so that we make sure that we know that they're in. So really, we'll get you that on the monumentation. And we're not going to obviously put something in the back because it's going to be in the wetlands. So there's not too many areas that we can pick here, but we'll send you something. So other than that, that's it.
Excellent. Ms. Polidoro?
I have no new comments.
Thank you. Start at my left. Mr. Tuttle?
Don't think I have anything else. It sounds like it's okay. I mean, so we would be adjourning this basically, but we would not be closing the public hearing on this until we got something from DEC essentially that says So whether that's the next meeting or after, something we can discuss is how far we need to adjourn this to account for that. But, yeah, that's the my only comment.
So you're doing the consultation method, not the 90-day waiting method, right?
Yeah, we would, I
Okay.
mean, we've already completed the whole delineation, so there's no need to wait the 90 days. We will be
Okay.
able to contact them pretty much immediately.
Okay. And that makes sense to. at
Yeah,
this
I mean,
point.
that's fine by me. I mean,
Yep.
at the end of the day, like, it's if there ends up being a problem and you have to come back for a revision, that's a burden on you, which we'd all like to avoid, but.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and I believe we have email correspondence with the DEC on that. So when I walked the site with the DEC, we explained what we were doing, the septic replacements and the mobile home replacements, and they didn't really have any problem with it. They just said that any groundwork, so the new 2 mobile homes that require groundwork disturbance will need a permit, and then the septics will need a permit due to it being within the wetlands buffer, but they're aware of what we're doing. They didn't really have an issue with that, so I can...
Right, so it shouldn't be a big deal to maybe just email them and ask
Yes,
them
I can
to-
forward
yeah.
the correspondence or send you guys that as well, so.
So it sounds like we need some correspondence from them, not just on the disturbance, but also for the permit for the septics as well. Okay, so yeah, we'll just need both those in writing.
Yeah, I can get that to you
Yeah,
guys.
and they're usually happy to, put something like that in. They understand the documentation and the need for keeping the record.
Yep.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Waters?
Nothing.
Huh?
Nothing.
Ms. Wasser?
Nothing additional.
Mr. Oliver?
No new comments.
Ms. Lee?
No comments.
Mr. Garcia?
No comments.
Okay. Would anybody in the audience like to speak to this? I don't believe anybody's signed up in advance, but this application is here for a public hearing, and if you'd like to say anything. Okay. So I did have one question about planter boxes. I think that might, I'm sorry.
Not from me, but I would speak on that.
That's our planning board representative,
Ah,
town board representative.
and I'm sorry. What?
I'm Gregory Campus, Town Board, but
Yes.
I also live in the neighborhood. So
Oh, okay, great.
Come on up.
Come on
Yeah.
up. You can.
I wait, with the question that you had.
Oh, all right, yes. So there had been some questions about the planters. I believe they had been moved somewhat on paper, but I'm not sure that, and Tad, maybe you can help me with this, because they had been in the right-of-way, and they've got moved out of, or they're looking to move them out of the right-of-way. But in general, we're looking for, because it was a street name, kind of
Yeah.
putting street name on the planter.
Yes.
And a planter, so they were going to be, so I guess the question is, do we have detail of that?
We can provide the details since we weren't changing anything besides the location. We didn't provide any further detailing of it, but if you'd like, we could provide
I
it.
think so, because they're going to be fairly prominent, and they're going to be used to do location, and,
They submitted it. Yeah.
yes, we have photos, but I believe that we should consider them as site plan elements.
And they're going to remain the same with the name on them?
That was the concept, yes. Just relocated within the setback, the building setbacks.
And was the color changed on them?
We weren't intending to. There was some discussion of the color at last meeting. I don't know that it was found disagreeable, but again, I don't think that there's an issue if we do need to change the color. We just would prefer some guidance if there is some disagreement.
Oh, we'd love to give guidance on color.
Okay.
Some of us do. It's not my forte, but there are members here who are very good at that. The previous chair's favorite color was blue. That's all I know.
But
And it was a special-
we're already blue, so we're in
And
good shape.
it was a special blue. It was a very special blue. So, so we'd like to see these, the detail on the site plans, correct?
Yes, the detail and what will be in them. What's the intent?
Like
Was
what
it-
they
I don't
plant,
think-
yeah, plantings.
You know, some people will plastic flowers and things, and that's not something that the planning board typically does.
No, we would not want that.
I don't know whether they would do that or not.
Nice annual mix is always good.
Okay.
Maybe
So,
an
yeah.
evergreen shrub.
Are there any other things that I'm not remembering? Did you want to come up and,
Yes,
you might as well.
Madam Chair.
Come on down, sit down, grab a microphone, please.
Thank you. I'm Gregory Campus, Hyde Park, 3rd Ward Town Councilman. The reason why I was speaking, because I was under the assumption that they were going to remove totally the planter boxes. For whatever reason, property owners can do what they wish. I know there's a 25-foot right-of-way from the center of the roadway as well. I think that they're keeping them and just moving them back. I think it's a good idea. For some people, it's a little gaudy, but I'm still waiting to hear public comments from people that live across the street and elsewhere, about that as well. But since it sounds like they're going to keep them, I have no issue with that, and that's what I would like to see happen there.
Excellent. Great.
Any questions?
Any preference on your color?
That blue color stands out. The further back they are, I think the more people can see the names on,
Because they're directional, right? They're going to help people
Yes.
find their way around.
Absolutely, yes. Okay.
Thank you so much for speaking.
For code purposes, are they considered permanent structures or signs? Or what are they considered?
They're considered a structure, right?
Even though their size is below the code?
They're considered structures. An address is exempt from a sign permit if it's under, I don't remember whether it's 1 or 2 square feet.
There are sign posts
Right,
that
there
I
are
see
road-
around town that seem to be part of what Hyde Park, the town, has put up in the.
Oh,
in the
make sure
area.
you use,
Yes, there are signs, signposts, white signs with dark colored lettering that are out front or behind each planter box.
Okay.
But they're also around town as well. They're not just in that location.
okay. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Would anybody else like to speak to this application? Okay, so do you have any more questions about what you might need?
No, it seems like at this point, all we really need to do is to get some confirmation on that email that Lena has received and forward it
Yes,
to
yes.
the board for their
Yep.
review.
And would they need to put in a sheet that shows, the location of the planter boxes?
They're on the plan.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, okay.
So we can just
Okay.
quickly, separately provide a detail for the plans.
material sheet,
And
yeah.
it'll ultimately be incorporated onto the detail sheet of the
Perfect.
plans.
Perfect. All right, so when would you like to have this public hearing adjourned to?
Honestly, as soon as possible, because I do think that the correspondence from the DEC is forthcoming since they've already opined, and drawing the detail for the planners is going to be very straightforward because they're existing.
Okay.
So just as soon as meeting is
The
possible.
17th?
Of December?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay, may I get a motion to adjourn the public hearing for the Haviland Mobile Home Park Lot merger and site plan amendment to December 17th?
Second.
All in favor,
And
please
if-
say aye.
Aye.
And if the determination is made on the monumentation, we'll represent that on the.
Yeah, we'll get it to
on
you
the
this
plans
week, yep.
For that meeting as well, too.
Okay, great.
Okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
You too.
Thank you.
It was all right.
No, they're all,
They
they were
ran
both
it
open
together.
together.
I mean, Chris.
And we adjourned them together. All right, the next item on the agenda is another new public hearing. This one is for the Belfield PUD Phase 2B subdivision. They're looking for preliminary and final plat approvals. Good evening.
Good evening. All set?
I'm all set.
Okay, thank you.
Except, may I get a motion to open the public hearing, please?
I'll make that motion. Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, Thank you for having us tonight. Larry Boudreau, Belfield, and Jared O'Connor to my left, Belfield, of course, Jennifer to my right. Thank you for having us again. This is, as you may recall, we had to add a Lot 4A, and we peeled that out of Lot 4, and we gave the reasons mainly to get IDA benefits for the, and we explained that in detail. If you had any questions on that, we can speak to that, but pretty straightforward. The plat you've seen before, it was very close to final previously, then we added the 4A, and as a result of that, we had to have another public hearing.
I think that pretty much sums it up.
Yeah, it does, it does. So if there's any questions?
Well done, Larry.
Yes,
Yeah,
nice.
thank you. Thank you.
Short and sweet.
I'm curious how creating a road lot helps with the IDA financing.
So I'll run through that, and then Jared can add to that, but what we're after,
Like a 1 minute explanation. I don't.
1 minute.
Just 1 minute.
1 minute.
Whatever it
So we did that so that we could obtain IDA benefits. And the idea is that when the HOA becomes active, we didn't want that road to be pulled into it yet, because once it is, you can't get the IDA benefit. So we keep it separate, and it'll make it part of the master HOA when it's completed.
Okay.
Interesting.
You want to add anything, Jared?
It's mostly just a timing issue, the timing of when the site work will be done, because the IDA benefits apply to the sales tax exemption benefits on certain materials that are purchased. And those can only be utilized when the IDA benefits apply to the lot that they're on. Once the lot moves into the master association, it's owned by a different entity. The IDA benefits don't follow with that. So it's just a timing between when that lot gets conveyed to the master association and when we're finished with our site work.
Okay.
Right, and the follow-up to that is the master HOA has to be active when the townhouses come online. So that's the key. They're going to come online before we're finished with the road in front of Lot 8.
Interesting.
Jennifer, do you want to add anything?
No,
Okay, sorry.
Wow. We learned so much up here through these projects.
Okay.
Okay.
You were over by 15 seconds on that.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
The 3 minutes?
No, we're going into that now. So I'm going to do a little circle around here.
Okay.
Tad, any comments on the subdivision here?
No comment.
Ms. Renson?
No comment.
Mr. Sotero?
No, any comments that I had were provided, today, and are like incorporated into the resolution.
Thank you. Yep. Yep, there was a lot of back and forth, so Ms. Polidoro.
Yeah, we carried
Thank you, by the
over
way.
a lot of comments from the preliminary approval. If you've met them, great, but you sent us some stuff last week that we didn't get a chance to look at yet.
Yep.
So the conditions are there, and I'm sure it's stuff that we can work out once everyone digs in and Lynn takes a look.
Yep. Yeah, well, we read through the resolution. Everything looked good to me.
Okay.
And Jennifer.
Great.
Yeah, we have a great team. They're so good. Okay, Mr. Tuttle.
Comments?
Mr. Waters.
No, everything seems to be addressed.
Ms. Wasser.
No comments.
Mr. Oliver.
No comments.
Ms. Lee.
No comments.
Mr. Curcio.
No comments.
Okay. So we do have a resolution prepared tonight. Oh, I'm sorry. Would anybody in the public like to speak to this application? This is for the subdivision at Belfield for Phase 2B. Okay. No comments? No comments. So we've opened. We have a resolution prepared.
I have that.
Yeah, we need to
But
close
we
it.
can close the public hearing.
Yeah.
May I get a motion to close the public
So
hearing?
moved.
Second.
We can't wait to get this thing closed.
Now, you're not going to
All
add
in
a
favor,
lot
please
4B,
say aye.
right?
There you go.
He didn't hear that.
Mr. Hall.
Resolution to grant conditional preliminary and final plat approval, Bellafield Phase 2B subdivision, Lot 8, Lot 4A, and lot line revisions, Lots 1, 4, and 7. Resolution number 2024-40B, whereas. Be it further resolved that the planning board hereby grants preliminary plat and final plat approval to the project as shown on the final plat and authorizes the chairperson or her authorized designee to sign the subdivision plat after compliance with the following conditions. 1, payment of all fees in escrow. 2, revision of the final plat to identify the specific sheets and dates of the informational plans on the file with the planning board secretary. 3, revision of the informational plan to confirm that sidewalks of adequate width can be constructed within the right-of-way within the chosen road profiles. 4, revision of all sheets to correct spelling of carriageway. 5, revision of sheet SP1 to revise the chart to include Lot 4A and correct all other lot acreages and correct the table of areas. 6, approval by the attorney to the planning board and planning board engineer of deeds for the lot line alterations, including from Lot 7 to Lot 4, for area to be conveyed, and an undertaking from applicant's attorney to record such deeds with the Dutchess County Clerk once the final plat is filed with the Dutchess County Clerk. 7, revision of the existing and proposed easement chart on SP3 to include all easements, including any required grading easement for Lot 8 and easements to and across Lot 4A. 8, approval by the attorney to the planning board and the planning board engineer of public access easements, sanitary sewer easements number 8 and number 9, revised access easement number 3, access easement number 4, proposed storm sewer easement number 4, and any other easement, covenant, and restriction applicable to Lot 8, Lot 4A, and revised lots 1, 4, and 7 as applicable, and an undertaking from the applicant's attorney to record the approved easements with the Dutchess County Clerk once the final plat is filed to the Dutchess County Clerk. 9, submission of a certification by the surveyor of the meets and bounds descriptions for the amended lots and the easement areas with map checks attached. 10, revision of the final plat to include a monument setting chart indicating when corner monuments shown on a plat will be installed. 11, submission of documentation from the Dutchess County Water and Wastewater Authority approving the change to proposed water line easement number 5 revised and water line easements 6 and 7. Be it further resolved that prior to the zoning administrator authorizing issuance of a certificate of occupancy for any structure on lots 8 or 4A, the concrete monuments and iron rods shall be installed at the corners of lots 4A and lot 8 to the satisfaction of the zoning administrator and the town engineer in accordance with the monument setting chart.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any nays or abstentions? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Well, they're all over the place.
The next item on the agenda is another new public hearing. This one is for the CIA Hotel and Villas. This also includes a project at the, what we call the old Coco's building. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I don't need that. I mean, no disrespect, Michael, of course.
I don't want to take your last one. Thanks.
I'm just trying to get low on this. I'm sorry.
May I get a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Welcome.
Nice to open.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, hi.
That's Lou.
Where is
Oh,
he?
yeah, what time is it? Where is he at?
Lou is, it's 2 in the morning.
Oh.
He's overseas. He wants to be here, but he can't. But he's with you here in spirit.
I believe it. I can't believe he's on that.
Wow.
I can't believe technologically I had anything to do with bringing this.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So we just received today a brand-new submission, the updated materials. So normally, we would want to have the time to review, so just keep that in mind, that we may not say a lot tonight.
Understood. Did you want to open the public hearing?
We did.
Just
Oh,
did.
I'm sorry.
You were busy with the
You
technology.
were technology there.
Very good,
with
okay.
Lou.
All right. Well, we want whatever you were giving out to other people.
Cupcakes? Would you, is it your
Everybody
birthday?
seems so happy.
Listen, it's got to be your birthday.
No, they want resolutions, is what they
okay.
want.
Right, well, or just the cupcake.
Aw.
Take that.
When's your birthday?
Okay.
Yes.
So, want to thank you all for opening the public hearing and all the feedback that you've given us since the last meeting. We really appreciated it. We worked hard to address some of these outstanding issues and to obviously be responsive and complete. Hopefully you got, and I know this is the last second, but hopefully you got a chance to at least look at the cover letter that we sent in advance, because we tried to at least address the newer issues that have been raised. We also made that submission today of the full revised drawings and architectural deck and the secra, red line secra. Much of that, probably most of that, has already been before you in our various responses. It just needed to be put onto the documents and recorded for formal purposes. But what we'd like to do today is just have Michael and Chris quickly go over some of the newer issues or some of these issues that we touched on in the letter, the cover letter, and try to discuss with you specifically the updated COCO renderings that many of you have given us good feedback on, as well as discussion of the road connection design, which we've studied, responded to, and what we've tried to do is come up with a feasible and responsive plan that you and the county have requested to make it possible for the road connection in the future, to take the traffic off of 9 and to address that safety issue. We also, as you saw in the cover letter, I just wanted to point out, have made the commitment or prepared to make the commitment that we would do nothing, and we would expect to see this in our site plan, any site plan determination or secret findings, that we would do nothing in the future with respect to the site, physically or otherwise, aside from the site plan that's before you, that would in any way preclude the design for the connection that we've showed you without coming back to the town and coming back to you. So that's a commitment that we're making. We think it's a feasible design. We'll go through it, and we will not do anything that would preclude that in the future. We continue to hope that, you know, with the information that we provided today and will provide today and in the updated submission, that you have sufficient information concerning the impacts of the project to be able to make at least a secret determination, with the understanding that there's still a couple of issues for site plan review that we need to resolve. That was sort of the sequencing and the format that you sort of addressed this last time, but It's, as you know, we've discussed that it's important for the timing for the project and our dealing with the other involved agencies, most particularly the town board and the ZBA, to at least be able to get the secret determination as soon as possible. So with that, what I'd like to do is turn it over to Michael to start, and he's going to cover a couple of the issues that you've raised and we tried to address in the cover letter, and then Chris will take over and do. I know you've got a schedule behind you or matters behind us, but we wanted, knowing that we gave you this pretty late, at least go through it and present it to you now. So.
Yeah, I would just want to start by saying that the deck you guys got today is really just modified drawings based on the comments. So it's the first set was sent in September, and hopefully we can get through it relatively quickly, but we understand. All right, I always like to start with this image because doing anything to Coco's is an improvement. So it makes it relatively easy to design something for this corner. But I wanted to start by just saying that we recognize this site, and it's been even more brought to our attention that this is kind of the gateway to Hyde Park. It's such an important site. We see it as an important site because of that, but we also see it as the front door to our development. So, you know, we're looking at this as one of the most, the best opportunities we have to impress people when they first get there. But we see it as the gateway to Hyde Park as well, just as much as to our site. I just want to start because I did hear that there were some questions about what the actual building is going to be housing. We sent this in the cover letter, but it's our shipping. Well, I'll start with the retail space because that's really the big iconic statement we're trying to make here. They're negotiating with potential tenants here that will be a complementary use for the resort and for the CIA. Could be a marketplace. They're working with a lot of different potential options here. So that's kind of what they're considering. We don't know yet. But the retail space, about 10,000 square feet of net retail space in the front of the building. As we work our way to the back, I think you guys were asking about what's going on back there. So it's our shipping and receiving areas. We have some security offices, some secured storage, some engineering offices, some linens and laundry, and employee lockers and restrooms on the ground level. On the upper level, the employee cafeteria and the kitchen are there, a commissary kitchen, management offices, server rooms, and some storage for the tenants that will own property here on this site. So it's kind of the nerve center of the operations of the development. And I wanted to go through the process really quick. I had a really nice phone call with Rob and Gigi the other day. Appreciate you guys' time. They gave me some great some suggestions here that I'll show you. This started as kind of a warehouse building in the back of our space. Obviously, that was not met with great enthusiasm, not by me either, honestly. So as we started to develop, you guys will remember in the submittal we sent in September, this was essentially what it was, and I'm sorry, these are just off a little bit, so I gotta just adjust with some of this. And we started to work out some of the issues that we had, creating some different articulation on the elevations with some gables and such that would be applied to the building. I didn't get the warm and fuzzy from Rob that I've gotten in the past on this, so he and I kind of talked it through a little bit, and we came back and started to look at other options here of what we could do with that back building. And I'm going to have to do this again. You'll see that that building was rendered a little too tall in this original. This is the original rendering that you see back here, a little too imposing. This was very, very high. We had utilized the full 40-foot height at that time, and it really kind of was out of scale. And we agreed with those comments and felt we needed to come back and adjust that a bit. So I think everybody was happy with the direction of the teaching kitchen building, which we're excited about, and we want to keep going. But you'll see in these sketches really quickly, I'll run through these fast. We started to do some axonometric studies, and we've come up with a way to build that rear part of the building using a gable shape, a much more residential scale, down quite a bit. We don't even come close to the 40-foot height that were allowed there. We feel like we needed to get closer to the ridge lines of the front part of the building. So you can kind of see as we looked at this, studying how the massing would make more sense. So what I just handed you guys, the 4 pages, are the updated renderings and elevations. We're super excited about where this is going. I'll zoom in and try and get to it. There we go. Okay, so you guys asked us to take a look at the north, the view that you're going to see coming from the north. What's really interesting here is this strip center and where our new footprint of the building that moves north of where Coco's is today. It gets blocked pretty quickly. I know that everybody's concern was, oh my gosh, we're going to see this big giant building in the back. You can see here very clearly that you're not going to see a lot of the building behind, but I think what we've done here is created an extension of the edifice of the north side of the building that is in keeping with the architecture and the style and the massing and the architectural language. We also, a big move here at the request and the suggestion of Gigi and Rob, creating a gable end on this side of the building also really is a better solution, and I thank you guys for the recommendations there. You're going to see, and Chris and Labella will go through a little bit more about the sidewalks and how we're going to articulate this here, but the stone wall and the protection that's going to provide is something we're considering here on Route 9A. I'll go through the other renderings. This is now, this is we're considering this is the front of the building. You're actually coming into St. Andrews Road. It's another new entrance, and that's the right-hand turn you're going to take, and this is really now the front. When we push the building closer to Route 9A, it's difficult to say that's your front. It's really, you could say it's in the back, but the reality of this is because we've created this new road, it is the front of the retail space. And you can kind of see that the scale of that back building is considerably better than it was. And then this one is my favorite, actually. This one really shows the difference between what we have there today, and I apologize to the original architect of Coco's. I don't know who that was. But from here, from the new intersection, it's remarkable. You don't see the back part of the building at all. So it's really a great way to kind of shield that and not call attention to the extended part of the building in the back. And to kind of expound on that a bit, I know there was concerns about our area back here. I noticed our fire department, Ray is here, I saw him. Hey, Ray. One of the things we need to do here is extend the parking and the paved area here for access. What that does, you guys will notice this line right here is the line of the woods right now. So that's the back of the parking lot. So this whole configuration doesn't even happen until you're already in the woods back there. So I know the concern was from Route 9, we're going to see this garbage dump. First of all, you wouldn't see it. It's just too far back. But we're as concerned as you about what that actually looks like. So we're going to be installing a chain link fence with privacy screen. In front of this, we will be able to plant in front of this, and we're planting shrubs and such in the front of it. Because we're extending this for the fire truck access, we have more opportunities here to plant trees beyond that. So we're going to do that. And you'll notice that this actually, takes almost a third of the building away, essentially. You're kind of getting it naturally screened with this new fencing and the landscaping we plan to do here.
Mr. Gotti, are the trees where the road connection would be that you're planting?
Well, the future road connection potential? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So let's see, what else?
But then we moved, and the future road connection, Michael, we moved the compactors and stuff. Those
yeah. No, I mean the new plan, there would be a revision to this area for sure. Yeah. Okay. It's a relatively easy revision. Everything is surface mounted and just paved. To move forward, this hasn't changed. I think one of the things I just wanted to point out here, we put this over, on the side here because there's a concern about, seeing this and screening this as well. We have accommodated in the design, larger areas where we can berm and we can landscape. again, your concerns are our concerns. They were our concerns first. We don't want people to see a parking lot when they drive in here. This is really meant to feel like it's behind the berm, behind the landscaping. So our goal is that when our, the development visitors are coming down here, they go through this gatehouse and they don't see anything beyond there. It's a relatively flat part of the site. It actually falls off a little bit as you get to the Roosevelt there on the top. And then you guys can take a look. The elevations have been updated. You see the planting and such that we've done there. We showed you the materials, simple materials, but in keeping with the architecture in the rest of the development. And then the teaching kitchen elevations. I also wanted to point out that we've added some information on the fencing that we're doing. You guys had some concerns of our emergency entrance off of Route 9. We had discussed last time, I forgot who brought it up, but it was a good point, that the black chain link fence actually, as it goes back into wooded areas, it kind of disappears. That's the goal here, obviously. But we can't help but notice and be able to see portions of the gate from Route 9. So what we're proposing is a aluminum picket, which we think is an elegant solution to that. So for the areas about 20 feet in each direction on either side of the gate that will be on the emergency entrance, we're going to do the gate like you see here in this photograph, and then an extended piece of the picket before you go back to the chain link fence as it kind of moves back into the off of Route 9. And in the summer you'll never see it. In the winter it'll be seen a little bit.
Michael, can you blow that up a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Which one? Either, both. This one. See that? And then lastly, the last one I have here, and we can come back to it. I know there was a concern about how we're going to fence around the pickleball and paddleball courts. We showed this as our zoom-in view. It's hard to do right now. It's hard to kind of make that work without building an entire model. But we brought this in. We said that the intent is going to have the fencing blend, just like the other fencing I described. We're considering, and we'll take your advice or your recommendation on this. If we wanted to do the privacy fencing on the Route 9A side, we can certainly do that. That's not a difficult thing. In fact, they can hang that right on the fencing. But you can kind of see that's a normal thing. Sometimes they use it as a windscreen, and there's a way to do that. So we're really just kind of keeping with what a normal pickleball court would use.
When you say privacy fence, can you explain what that is?
Privacy is
like
with
the
a
slats?
Yeah, well, it's the chain link fence, but then you have the inserts. You can put the inserts through the chain link fence.
The vinyl slats?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, and there was a picture of that was the picture on the other.
It's around the garbage, right?
Same,
Yes.
the same
Around
as
the
around the
garbage.
It's around the
dumpster?
garbage,
Okay.
yeah.
Actually, with the pickleball though, they have screens, fabric screens
It's like
that they
a
can.
fabric windscreen.
Yeah, a windscreen. Yeah, that we would do. That's more of the sport version of that. The other thing I wanted to mention, the lighting plans have been updated. We spoke to our lighting designer. They have, technology is a wonderful thing until it's not. There are hot spots that show up in the photometrics. They've updated those. I went back and forth with them often. And you'll also see that they went ahead with the lighting for these courts. And you'll notice they're directional lights that provide the foot candles we need for the gaming. But you'll notice that there's no light, very little light leak outside of those lines. They're very, very directional lights. There's no glare. They're at a height that's manageable for the game. But obviously, we're concerned about the cars on Route 9 and anything like that. So it's all been designed to keep the driver safe and not be an eyesore in any way. And we have the night sky challenges here too. So taking all that into account. Was there anything else?
I just want to add one thing to what Michael said regarding the emergency access gate. I know he had shown you a sample of what's being contemplated, but for the benefit of the fire department, the gate will be equipped with a siren receiver as requested at the last review, so that it will open up when the fire truck is within a certain distance honking its horn. So we still intend to proceed with the operation of this gate in such a manner.
Did I miss anything? Was that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks.
So, Chris, take quickly through just a couple of slides on, I know there was some issues or questions on the parking lot, on the valet parking lot.
Microphone, please.
Excuse me?
Microphone, please.
Yes, I'm sorry.
That's right.
Sorry about that. I know there was some issues or questions on the valet parking lot, and the charging stations, and so Chris will address that. And then a couple of the comments of the DOT, to speak to that, and then the road connection design that we're proposing. So, Chris?
Thank you, Michael. So, with regards to the valet parking, I know Michael touched upon this earlier. There was concerns about the screening of the valet parking, and also the screening of the retail parking as you're coming in from the intersection of St. Andrews. In addition, in the valet parking area, you had asked us to identify where we would have our EV chargers for those cars. So in the cyan colored areas within to the east of the valet parking and to the south of the retail parking, those areas are going to be bermed in elevation, about 4 feet in height, and incorporated into our submission that we gave you today. We always had a heavy landscaping presence on the southern side of the valet parking, but to address the comments you made last month as it relates to the retail, we incorporated that 4-foot high berm in that entire area, along with approximately 30 trees. There's a mixture of 19 eastern red cedars, 3 tulip trees, 3 river birch trees, and 4 sweet gums. And I've got the landscaping plan with me just to kind of reinforce what I was just speaking of. Joe, if you can kind of highlight that area. Yeah, well, actually just put your mouse on it. This is the area that we've heavily landscaped per the request that you asked us last month. With regards to the EV chargers, the EV chargers are located on the northern section of the valet parking lot. They're concentrated in the central northern area, as to some of the guidance that we were given from the board during, or not board, but the consultants during our meeting on the phasing plans. We also have identified, in terms of the EV charging for the golf carts, they're going to be located within the ceiling of that enclosure. So they're going to be pull-down chargers for each of the individual golf carts that are being parked there. So it's not something that's going to be visible in terms of a structure on the ground within the enclosure. So we think from a screening standpoint, it's something you're not going to see. Obviously, it's behind the building, and it'll be enclosed on 3 sides. With regards to the pavement, I know we talked last month about introducing a cool pavement here in terms of the heat island effect. So we've done some research, and we found a supplier that can incorporate a color additive into the asphalt hot mix. They also offer a sealer. The concern our office had with a sealer is a sealer easily wears away, and then you lose the effects of the investment that you've made. When you incorporate the additive into the actual hot mix itself, you're getting a better blend and composite of the cooling effect. And so we've selected, and it's in our plans that we've given to you, what's called a ballast color. It's almost like a light gray, and it's highly reflective of solar energy, and this is going to absolutely remain cooler than your conventional pavement. We think we've done enough due diligence on that we feel comfortable with the product that we've provided to you. There are some other color options that we've provided on our detail plans. The board can consider and see if you have other thoughts that may be you believe more suitable, and we can have a discussion on those. But we've included those options on our plans for your consideration, but as I said, we're looking for a ballast color. So I think I've covered everything as it relates to the valet parking, and...
Can I just touch on one thing? Yeah, just on one, we are also committing, as we said in the cover letter, to do the analysis on the solar canopies. So we intend to go through the necessary studies and see if it's feasible, and as we outlined on our letter. So we're going to do that too. That's just going to probably be over about a year period, but you know, no problem putting that into any condition of approval or alike.
Can I just make a quick note?
As long as you have a microphone.
I love the microphone. Embarrassingly, I'm looking at the elevations that I printed for you guys. Did they double up on yours too? Yeah. All right. That's embarrassing. Sorry about that.
No, not on mine. No, mine was good.
I'll let somebody know that they're in trouble tomorrow.
On the page 4.
Renderings are really the ones I wanted you to see anyway.
2.13.
This guy's like the architectural version of Ryan Seacrest. He doesn't want to let the microphone go. So with regards to the sidewalk along the frontage of the Coco's building, you can see where we've already constructed the pedestrian crossing and signalization. That portion of the sidewalk is adjacent to the existing curbing out there. And in keeping with the characteristics of the Route 9 corridor, we've slightly angled the sidewalk on about a 22-degree angle, and we've brought the sidewalk closer to the western portion of the right-of-way, and we're screening that with a low-rise stone wall, similar to what you see along the Route 9 corridor. We're trying to maintain about a 5-foot separation between the wall and the curbing. It'll be a grass area, but it'll also be used in terms of snow storage that may accumulate in that area. We think that's consistent with what the vision is of the corridor, and we've also incorporated, based upon the updated traffic study that DOT spoke to, we've increased the length of the turn lane to 195 feet. That's merely an exercise in removing existing striping and restriping the area, and we just wanted to work through that and show you that those changes have been made on our plan set. So the next ticket item that Michael spoke to was just kind of walking through the alternative connection to the adjoining property. If you want to zoom in on the lower one. So we had an informal meeting with a few members of the town board to discuss this, and now we're making the presentation to the entire board. We took into consideration the concerns and comments that were raised by the board, as well as the program needs of our development, and we've tried to develop a plan which we believe is viable in terms of a potential future access connection. This plan would result in a connection to the most southernmost aisle on the adjoining property. It would allow for us to, and this goes back to, I think it was a question that was raised earlier, the compactor and refuse enclosures and the cart storage are all able to be relocated, as we have shown on this drawing here.
Can you move the mouse when
Sure.
you're talking about these areas, please?
Sure. So the cart storage right now is in this area here. We would relocate it in this area here. We would relocate some of the parking that we identified here, and this would go to the southern end. It's not. This parking would go here, where we would triple stack within the valet parking area. So from a parking standpoint, we would still maintain the same number of parking spaces. We would reconfigure how the refuse enclosures and locations are located on this portion of the property. We would have pull-ins in this area for the 2 refuse areas, and then the compactor would be relocated to the western portion of this property. We've slightly modified a little bit of the pavement here where it doesn't encroach within the stream corridor setback. This would allow for the tractor trailers that are going to be unloading to the rear of the building. It's, you know, there will be some striping that'll be necessary to clearly delineate this path. We haven't gotten into the detailed engineering of this. This is more, we're giving you the concept that it's viable. And that would need to be delineated here so that there's an accurate travel path. This travel path's been developed so that it can accommodate a fire truck and a tractor trailer as well, coming into the adjoining property. We do believe there will be encroachment within the stream corridor. We do have some topographic challenges here as we have to accommodate a radius to accommodate the tractor trailers and the fire trucks. Obviously, that's subject to future review and planning board consideration, but it's viable. We think this could be done in a manner where it also won't encroach upon a DEC's 50-foot buffer as well in there for the stream. At this stage, I'm willing to hear any thoughts or comments you may have on this particular connection. I think it was made in good faith and accommodates what was asked for.
Why don't we be a little more controlled and get all of your comments, and then we're going to go around, if that would be okay.
No, I think we addressed most of the new issues that were raised. As I said before, a lot of the issues that we had responded to were worked into conforming the numbers and some explanations and clarifications. One of the things on this road, while we took it upon ourselves, I think as we felt requested by this board and the county in their comments about exploring the feasibility, we think we have a feasible program here. It probably has many of the same issues that were being discussed in 2011. I went back and looked at some history of that. There would still need to be arrangements between ourselves and the other property owners. There would still be maintenance liability. There would be signage issues. There would possibly be some land acquisition. But those were the same issues that were being debated and discussed in 2011, which hopefully we would be able to work out. As I think I said in the cover letter and we discussed last time, one of the more likely scenarios or possible scenarios that would also accommodate this is if the resort was to purchase the neighboring parcel, which is a possibility in the future. But this, I think, captures the intent of the comprehensive plan, you know, to promote tourism and preserve the ethos, as Michael likes to call, of the resort, and at the same time, he's got great words. I could never come up with a word like that. And at the same time, you know, accommodate a real connection and take that traffic off of Route 9, close that curb cut, and accommodate it. So I think at this point in time, any questions on any of the issues, we welcome and thank you for your...
Thank you.
Do you want to address the DOT comment about the sidewalk in front of the neighboring property there?
Yeah, I was going to say that's the only thing
Not
missing.
really.
I was going to say that's the one thing that you did not.
Okay,
we
we thought, quite frankly, it was an overreach. it sort of had some of the same characteristics. I mean, they brought it up at the meeting with them originally, the first time we met with them, and they sort of backed off of it. It surprised us when we saw it in their comments. I mean, we met with the regional administrators. You saw they provided you a comment about no further improvements. So it sort of surprised us a little. It's not, it's not typical that you have to do a sidewalk on someone else's property. Again, there would be all types of maintenance.
Well, it wouldn't be on somebody else's property.
Well,
It'd be
right
DOT
away,
right away.
but
It's not typical that you're doing a sidewalk along the frontage of somebody else's
Well,
property.
let me just, I'm
Right.
sorry, I guess I am going to interrupt, but Jason Brenner had sent, the town an email saying, hey, we were talking about this sidewalk. How do you guys feel about, having the sidewalk? And we told him yes, we'd like the sidewalk.
Of course.
So.
And we would encourage the owners of those sites to build sidewalks in front of their.
Well, if they want to require it as part of your permit, I don't know whether whether it's fair or not. That's not up to us.
I don't think they're required. We met with the regional administrators and everyone. They have not indicated that they're requiring it as part of our permit.
Why did they ask us then?
They asked, "How do you feel about?"
How do you feel about it? But we're not going to do anything about it. But how do you feel about it?
I think what's
sense.
getting overlooked here is it's not as simple as the construction of a 5-foot wide sidewalk along the right-of-way. And once again, in all due respect, I've been doing this for a considerable amount of time. The DOT does not make an individual responsible for the construction of a sidewalk along the frontage of another individual's property. I've done this along Route 44 a number of times where you have these endless sidewalks along people's frontage of property. They don't ask you to continue building a sidewalk along the neighbor's property until you make a connection. The other thing that's getting lost in this is nobody's looked at the details of what's actually required for this construction. So let's go through this. There are 2 utility poles within the existing right-of-way that would have to be relocated as part of this endeavor. The other thing that's being missed is this existing area is curbless. There's a swale alongside the roadway. So where does this drainage have to go? You'll need to construct new curbing, and along with the new curbing, now you have a drainage situation that's going to require the introduction of catch basins and new piping to redirect the drainage. Well, what's in that place right now that may impact that? There's an existing gas main along that curb line where this would go. So when you start thinking, oh, it's only a little sidewalk, no, it's not. It's more than 500 feet of sidewalk. It's going to require some more detailed engineering than what you would expect. But also from the construction side, you now have to also relocate the drainage line that's in the middle of the sidewalks where there's a swale going through. So this is a bit of a complicated effort here. This is not a throw $10,000 at it and you could put in a sidewalk type endeavor. This is a major engineering feat, and this is not something that is, in our opinion, and we feel very strongly about this, the responsibility of the applicant as it doesn't front our property.
And this is very much, frankly, if many of you recall, sort of the conversation we had on the Saki application. It was, at one point, the department asked us, the Saki applicant, to put in the 4 signal lights at the intersection of St. Andrews, or they weren't going to allow us to extend the wall and the sidewalk onto their right-of-way at the corner. And Michael Dupree, representing the board, was very strong in his representation that this should not be the responsibility of the Saki, just because they were seeking approval to build this wall and this connection. It wasn't something that they had really caused or was related to their proposal. So
I wouldn't expect that same advocacy on this issue, though. The board would like to see the sidewalk.
Well,
So
wait,
they're not going to be.
Victoria,
asking
we-
us to-
we're-
I'm just saying, at that point.
We're not
Has the board
arguing.
opined on that?
Yeah, is the board opined
No,
on
the
that?
board is not, I mean, I heard some, but I'm saying I don't expect this board to go to bat with DOT the same way they did on the Saki project.
Well, look, we're not surprised, your comment, that the board would like to see a sidewalk. The DOT would like to see a sidewalk. The question is, who should be responsible for building that sidewalk? And what is the typical practice? And you've been doing this long enough, and you know that typically improvements of this kind are not usually required of other landowners to build sidewalks adjoining other people's properties. We would certainly cooperate with another owner if they would like to build that and work with them and coordinate it and alike, but it's not it's out of the ordinary. And when we met with them, they did not require it. So I just think it's an understandable ask of an agency that's probably would like to see as many of these types of things happen, improvements happen. Question is, who should be equitably and fairly responsible? And we don't think it should be the project. I can't do any better.
Okay.
Mr. Zarin, I have a quick question. When you reference your meeting with DOT, when was that? Was that with the original NRI application? Or more recent?
No, this is when we went back to them for the amended site plan application. We met with them and presented it. The regional administrator was there.
The traffic impact study.
And we did an impact study, and we wanted to know in advance what improvements they might require.
Do you know roughly?
When?
Yeah.
It was
Summer? It was
July or August?
This year?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, now I think you've covered.
It was after Lance retired, is when we went. No, I remember this. It was-
After what?
The former regional director retired after
Okay.
he
So it was
retired.
with the new administrator, and
I think it was
met
like
much
2
of his
weeks right
staff.
after that, somewhere in that time frame.
Thank you.
So
And it was
thank-
raised.
Right, so thank you for going through that presentation. Again, a lot of information here to digest. What I'd like to do is go around and do our normal ask, and then, of course, find out if anyone in the audience wants to speak. So, Tad.
So we've talked a lot about the surface and the color of the parking lot, the size of the parking lot. There are other standards in that same section that will also need to be addressed by the board. I don't know that the ask for the waiver from that section or those sections 108 4.5b2 have all been addressed in your request for such a waiver, and I would think that would be a good thing to provide to the board. In addition, the front of the building, although you have designed it to be fronting on the connection, is actually on Route 9, according to the code, which is a good thing because that means that your parking isn't in front of the building. So they won't need anything from that. But I believe the code requires access to what we consider to be the front of the building by
I see that, yep.
pedestrians. And I know we talked about that once, but I don't know if that's
Can you go to the
in
site plan?
writing as a request to waive that
Do you want to show that on the
access.
site plan? Yeah. Go to the site plan.
I do consider the golf car parking spaces as addressed under 108 4.5b2, and they would be undersized and not the appropriate size for a roadworthy vehicle, so you might mention that. There have been a couple of iterations or descriptions of shared parking, and I'm not clear as to whether or not all of the shared parking is put together in one place. So how much you need, how you're handling it, where they're parking off-site. There were 80 spaces or something that were going to be somewhere else if it was needed.
We did upgrade and the table, the parking
Okay.
table, and included it in the submission.
Okay.
And to explain and clarify some of those issues.
Okay.
Yeah, I think what we did was, and this was on our note sheet, and I don't know if everybody had the opportunity to see that. And, it's been on our note. It's been on our note sheets.
Oh.
It's been on from the original approval on how the parking is distributed throughout the site. There is a table on it. I think it's G002. And what we did was we this is the table, Joe, if you can highlight that with the mouse. We also brought this table into our technical memorandum so you could read it as well. It shows, and what we have here is we have a table of the required parking for the overall project that breaks down hotels, villas, the restaurants, the spa, the teaching kitchens. We go into the hilltop amenity. We go into the retail establishment as well. We apply the same 30% reduction factor for the overlap between resort guests and restaurants, similar to what you had approved in 2011. And we've come up with a total parking required of 508 spaces. There's a total of 528 spaces being provided, 20 more than what is required. The smaller table that we have here breaks down how they're distributed throughout the site. We have 9 spaces at the event barn. We have 22 spaces along the LH3s for parking. We have, along the X1 lots, we have another 23 spaces. The garage beneath the Hearth building, we have 19. The CIA overflow, we have 86. The Coco's retail portion, we have 55. Within the valet parking, we have 229. We have 73 spaces at the villa garages and their driveways. We have some that have garages, so we have a parking space internally, and we have one externally. We only, and we were conservative. Some of those areas where we can fit 2 or 3 cars in those driveways, we only use 1 car for a parking space. The teaching kitchens, we have 12 parking spaces for the public use of the teaching kitchens. So we've also gone a step further here, and we broke down the green and the red that we show here are those areas that will be for the public use. That is, public use is going to be the teaching kitchen. Public use is going to be the retail establishment. If you're obviously coming into a restaurant or to the spa or to the hotel, that's part of the valet parking. So that's the green area, I'm sorry, the kind of the lightish, or orange-red, I don't know the technical term for that.
Salmon.
Peach, let's call it peach.
Peach?
Salmon. Those are areas that'll be valet parked. And similarly speaking, the CIA campus will be valet parked as well. So there will be some degree of, on-site, we'll have valet parking at each of those locations where somebody will come and get your car for you. So we've had this in our plans. Maybe we didn't, during this meeting, actually break it down for everybody into this level of detail, but we do have this color-coded plan, and we're hoping this addresses the questions that have come up as to how the parking's allocated on the site.
Thank you.
And Kat, as far as some of those design standards waivers, I know we addressed a number of them in our November 10th submission, but I'll go back and look and make sure we've covered all of them, or at least the ones that you
D, E, F, G,
think.
and J.
Say that again?
D, subsection D, E, F, J, G, and J.
D, E, F,
F, G, and J.
J. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Other comments, Tad?
No, that's all, thank you.
Ms. Franson?
So, thank you for the presentation, just absorbing it. I think what I think about in the presentation is, again, how to get the valet parking in a place where you reduce the, the urban heat effect. And I think the narrative in the response talked a lot about solar canopy, but you can put just canopy. It doesn't have to be solar necessary, doesn't have to be year-round, but there are canvas structures, there are other types of structures you could put up that would also help without having to go through the whole cost of a major solar canopy. So I think my point is to sort of be creative about what could remedy some of that. The other is even just putting canopy trees around the periphery. I see that you have put in the landscaping. I don't know if that landscaping, because I haven't looked at it, but to what extent it's canopy landscaping. And I would ask, what are you doing at the back end of the parking lot? Because I know you're going to grade to put in the parking lot, but I didn't see any trees on that westerly side.
So the westerly side there abuts the stream corridor
Mhm.
area, and that's already a wooded area, so our proposal was not to disturb the existing vegetation in that area.
Yeah, I didn't know measure off. I don't know if that's like a 2 foot or, just looking at this right now, if it's 2 feet, 5 feet, 10 feet.
Yeah.
But if there's an opportunity to put some additional potential canopy trees in there, I would investigate that. So that's sort of what I took away. Otherwise, just have to go through the submission. Thank you.
I think what we can do in terms of the canopy trees that you're asking for on the periphery along the eastern side of the valet parking, our thought process was, the desire was for screening there. And it's heavily coniferous in the selection that is on the landscaping plan. But what we can do is maybe that first row that abuts the parking, we can modify that into some level of a canopy type tree.
And again, I think that there are other techniques, so, just to be creative and take a look whether any of them could be applied.
We thought the one technique that we're also offering was creative in the sense of trying to change the color of the pavement to lower that heat-on effect as well.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, Ms. Franson?
No, thank you.
Mr. Sotero?
A couple things. We got the submission, we'll obviously, look at it. But I did want to mention there's been talk about the interconnection and the possibility of tying the two sites, together, and the applicants presented a plan where they say that they could be able to do it, in the future. So I just wanted to say that, I've been doing this a long time, myself, and have worked as a developer's engineer on projects and on the town's end on reviewing projects, and I've had several of these cases, and in fact I just had a meeting on Monday on one of my development projects where the same potential issue may be coming up. And so my point is that I don't know why we wouldn't approve a site plan now that would set up for, a potential connection later. I don't know why you would have, an alternate plan, and then they'd come back for a site plan approval and then move all this stuff around. And again, this is just something, and I'll bring it up in a letter, but why we wouldn't just, the way to do it is to just do it, and approve a site plan so that it's set up, so that it can be very easily made, in the future. So, and I know that's going to spark a lot of discussion. I don't think we need to have all that discussion now, but I just wanted to bring that up. I don't know why we wouldn't approve something now that would set it up for the future. That's just my opinion.
Pete, your opinion, again, you speak from a lot of experience, and we value your opinion. Is there anything else that you wanted to comment
No,
on?
not at this time, no.
Ms. Polidoro?
So not having looked at the new materials that we received today, I agree with Pete. I don't see why you would approve a site plan that puts trees and garbages and golf cart structures in an area where you want a future connection, instead of just having them relocate those now and build the connection to the point that one day it can be connected to. So it's done, because there's a cost to doing all that later, and you have to ask someone to come in and get approval. It has to be engineered in the future. So if this is the direction the board is going, I don't understand the alternate plan. It should just be the plan at this point. Again, we're not saying they have to have the agreement and connect with the neighbor. They can stop at the property line. We can work those details out.
And they may even buy it. I mean, if they buy it, then it's set up.
Right. It just, planting trees where the road is going to go, to me, is at odds with what the board has asked them to do. I also just, again, the frontage and the waivers for the parking lot, that all has to be considered as part of the board's seeker findings. So you want to make sure that you have enough information in front of you to determine whether you can, again, issue a neg deck. And you should also look at whether you have enough information on the sport court. It's the first time I heard about a privacy fence from Route 9, so you may need some more visuals as well as to what that's going to look like when you're driving by it.
Thank you.
That's it.
Okay. Mr. Tuttle.
Thanks, guys. Let's see, range of small comments here. Normally, I don't love the idea of vinyl privacy slats. Bringing up the lighting, I think this may be a case. It's not the direct glare from the light, but just that's a different visual at night. When those lights are on, I can see that being a case for having some sort of opaque, something that's not see-through on that side. If it could be something other than vinyl, even better, but just something to consider there. Even if you're talking like a low stone or brick wall along that side that sort of removes the direct view of the, I'd have to, it might have to be quite a tall wall and actually make any difference, but just putting something out there as something to think about for that. I like the stone wall along the front of the building. I assume it's set back far enough that DOT will be okay with it. There's one pretty close on the other side of the road by Saki, so I'm okay with that. But Tad mentioned the entrance on the front. Is there now an entrance to that new gable on the north side? I saw a sidewalk going back, like the sidewalk comes to an end along around Route 9, and then it goes up into the site along that northern edge.
Yeah, right now, we don't know who the tenant is going to be. If it might end up being a single tenant for the entire space, and there's security issues on the retail side for that. We talked the other day with these guys, and the consideration of that could come up. Right now, there's going to be parking from the adjacent group right up against our building. Their parking is right there, so it's not the most comfortable entry for anything. It's really, for us, it was more of a show window type thing, and show people what's in.
I am sensitive to the idea that for nearly everybody who goes into this, the front is in the rear. We run into this a lot. When you do parking in the rear on a structure and you bring the building up next to the road, you have two faces to that building. I think it's important to have an entrance on the front of the building. It needs to look like a front. Even if very few people, until that neighboring thing gets developed, until we have a sidewalk connection and people may actually walk to it, I think it's important to have it look like the front of the building.
All right,
so
let's look into it.
On the sidewalk connection, I understand why DOT brought it up. When I thought about it, first thing I thought is, that is a really difficult, that's not a straightforward sidewalk to build
100%.
whatsoever.
And Chris is right. Everything he said about drainage and all that stuff is, 100% correct.
Yep. I would love to see it done, but my inclination is that it's too big it's too much for this right now. That's my inclination. All right, landscaping. On the landscape plan, which you showed up there and which I've got up here is L302. There is no landscaping shown in front of Coco's or along the northern edge of the site. I spoke before at our last meeting about just that 5-foot, very minimal setback there, and how, so some of these renderings and the elevations even, the elevations show shadowed trees in front of nearly the whole length of that building. So I don't know if this, part of me wondered whether it was actually an error, because there is some stuff shown on the renderings in front of Coco's, right? You'd think you're going to do some low-lying landscaping in
I'd
front
say,
of
it would-
that
yeah,
building.
you're correct. It was a technical oversight.
Yep, okay.
The intent, we had this discussion with the team, is to have low-level landscaping along that entire northern section of the
Yep.
building, and it failed to show up on this plan.
Okay.
But it is been fully discussed and vetted out. And I think we do owe you along the eastern portion of the building how we are going to propose the landscaping.
Yep.
In all honesty, we've spent so much time trying to figure out how we're going to orient this sidewalk along the frontage and incorporate a stone wall that we kind of lost sight of the landscaping request along the frontage, so we owe that to you.
Yep. As for the buildings, I think this really works. I like that rear building. I was skeptical last time and happy with it. It really seems like, maybe it's just an illusion of the renderings, but it seems like a dramatic difference on the height. You went from 40 to what? What is it?
It is, the ridge line is about 32 or so, but,
Okay.
you know, when the gable comes down,
Yep.
we were able to kind of study the interior, and we get the height we need inside the building that we didn't think we had before, so.
Great.
Yeah, it worked
Good.
out, it worked out.
Okay. So let's see, is there anything else? I think the only other thing is about the connection. Thank you for meeting with a couple of us to talk about this. Actually, I'm going to say sort of two contradictory things here. Just to go back to the landscaping for a second, you talked about the woods hiding the dumpsters and such. It would be helpful to at least, if the idea is that you think you're going to be able to leave enough of the woods intact between the existing parking lot for the neighboring property and what you're building, then it would be helpful, I think, to show that in some way on the plans, depict it. Here is where an existing tree line is that is going to serve as a buffer. Here's where it ends. Because right now, when we look at this landscaping plan and everything, we don't, you know, it looks bare, right? And our assumption tends to be you're probably going to remove everything. It's within 20 feet of your building, right, or whatever you're doing.
So you kind of want us to go out there and identify that landscaping, and then on top of that, then show how the new fencing is going to intertwine with that landscape, so that you can see the entire screening that's taking place on that side of the building.
Right, just for that little corner up there, right, where that's what we're talking
Pick out all the you go out there, survey all the landscaping that's existing, and then.
Yeah, I don't know that I was asking for a detailed tree survey. I think I'm asking for an outline of the tree line, right?
All right.
Or if you were going to be removing something and planting something, okay. But it would just be helpful to depict whatever that buffer is going to be.
More just kind of delineate the limits of disturbance along that area. I think.
Yeah, that could be helpful. Yep. With that said, so that assumes that this is the way things are staying for now, right? I am really sensitive to what both Pete and Victoria said, and it was my first thought after our call the other week, is that you've shown us a way that it could be done to facilitate that connection. Why are we doing it a different way to begin with? Why not just build it the way that you said with the golf cart parking in a slightly different place and the gate in a different spot, so that it is configured the way that it would be were that connection to be made. You may well have your reasons, but that's my first thought, is that it feels overly complicated to set yourself up, if you do purchase that neighboring property or whatever, to have to completely reorganize everything when you've shown that it could work in a different way that would make that process a lot simpler.
I think I hear that point, and I think it's also been shared with the board that an alternative connection of that nature would be a shared cost, correct? I mean, there's a cost for us to build what we were contemplating, and then there's the additional cost to make a shared connection.
Again, they're not asking for you to
That's
actually
an
agreement.
connect.
That's a separate,
Yeah.
like agreement later on, and I would expect that the agreement would ask the adjoining property owner for a certain percentage of cost of the traffic light, of the road going out there, insurance, so there's all kinds of agreements.
Microphone,
Again, we could get
Talk to
into,
microphone.
another hour, of this. and
But I
we
think
need
it's
to
just
do that.
worth, just to, if I understand correctly, we would have to reach a negotiation with that landowner on those issues as opposed to, just Victoria, as opposed to if we were to build it now, and we had no idea whether that landowner agreed to plug into that, agreed with our design, agreed with our signage, agreed with our distancing, agreed with, I went back in those 2011.
You'd have to build it twice.
That's their problem.
You can put a curb between your lot and their lot.
That's
No.
their call.
No, you're saying stub it out, essentially.
Don't put trees and buildings there, is what we're saying.
Until we, go ahead.
Wait a second.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
You asked us, I know you don't want to belabor this issue, but I do want to just bring up one point. When we were asked to lay this out, we were asked to lay out a viable alternative. The alternative we laid out, you look at what needs to be relocated in that sense in terms of the structures. You're talking about refuse enclosures being relocated. You're talking about the enclosure for the golf carts. That's all removable. But now you're talking about actually building infrastructure. You're talking about building roadways that's not necessarily needed for the current development. You're asking to build retaining walls that aren't needed for the current
And it's
development.
called planning. It's called planning.
Correct. We are doing. We're planning ahead. We're just not. We're not building ahead right now. We're not building ahead for a connection that's
Yeah, they're
not.
building it.
Maybe we can have a separate,
Yeah,
because we could go on for another
I
like
don't want to
hour
get into a
on
ping
this.
pong tournament or a
Yeah.
pickleball
And we're not
tournament
gonna
here.
go get it.
I would really ask you at this point, just hear what everybody's saying. You don't need to, you do not need to debate every single point that comes up. And same thing for us. We're just trying to, again, give you our impressions. We don't need to be pushed back every time. We don't need to be told why we're wrong or why, just, please, just try to listen. That's all I ask.
Thank you.
Mr. Tuttle?
We'll leave it there. Thank you.
No other comments? Thank you. And Mr. Waters?
Okay, well, first, when you open up a conversation, like, I don't belabor it, and then you don't give people the opportunity to opine on their position, that's not good. So I might not table it right now, because I have to tell you that, they met the requirements of showing how it could be done. They don't need to implement it because it's not being technically done. We don't know if the person that is to the north in that plaza is willing to sell. We're not sure if they want to pay some of the costs to connect, which I believe in that 2011 document that I had seen, at the bottom of the document somewhere, it stated that the costs would be connecting a road or something like that would be a shared cost, and they would have to come up with some kind of a payment to the other property owners to share that access. Okay, so that was
That's right.
that was it. Am I correct on that? Yes.
And the town was talking about a public dedication would be required.
Yeah.
Microphone, please.
Yeah. So that's all, with that thing. But now I want to get on to the important part of the whole thing, is the renderings make the project come to life. I don't know if anybody else sees that. I see it. I see the theme being carried from all the way in the back, what's happening down by the river, all the way forward to Route 9. The same quality, seems like it's the same quality. It seems like the same attention to detail. It's thought out, it's well thought out, it's well laid out. I like that they moved certain structures. I think that was a big plus. I also, there are a couple things, I went through the drawings already, but I have to really digest it, and I will get back and raise those issues. But like the pro shop, I'd like to see what that is. But, I don't know if anybody else has looked at the elevations, but I did, and I saw that drawing might be missing. So what is that? I also thought that there might be a unique way to do a privacy screening around those tennis courts and stuff that would actually help dampen the sound of those courts, but yet also be almost like an architectural element, whether they're open, it's an open wall, but it's staggered, it has a little bit of movement to it, whether one is in front of the other, so airflow can get in, but yet create some kind of a screening. And I thought that maybe that same element that you used there can also be used on the dumpster area, so that you're carrying a theme through. Rather than the chain link with the slots and stuff, we always find that, I think it's been suggested that those slots always slide out or things happen to them
The
over
cheap
time.
ones.
Yeah.
The cheap, we're not going to do.
The cheap, okay,
No,
well.
we're going to do the other one.
Okay, you're going to make them, I think. But, yeah, so that I think would go a long way too, because I think because the project is so unique and has all these elements, but I don't know which building I like better, because they all share different levels of interest, and then but they all share a similarity at the same time. So that I think is it's well done. I mean, let's see, that building of the greenhouse, yeah, the teaching kitchen is, man,
Yeah.
that is something else, not unlike anything here, and much like the site across the street, they have jewels that they incorporated in their structure, which was beautiful, that they've done. This is now a jewel for this one. So I think this is all, that whole area down there, the entry into Hyde Park is just becoming, it's like the place you want to be. And I applaud all the architects from both projects, because they really, these are outstanding projects. They really are. And for right now, that's all I have to say. But the sidewalk going north. Here's what I have with an issue with that. If you do that, it enhances the property value of that parcel, so that if you do go to buy it, you're going to be paying more for something you've already done. I don't know. That's my thought on it. That's just a perspective that I'm just looking at it. You're enhancing something for somebody else that you're going to have to now go to and purchase, and they're going to say, well, we have these beautiful sidewalks in front of our building. And you know that building's going to be torn. We don't know what that building could be. So, well.
I'm just listening.
Well, what is wrong with
Well,
what I'm
because
saying?
you're planning for Hyde Park, not for the individual.
I understand that, but making them move gas lines, telephone poles,
Yeah,
and all of that.
I understand.
So
But, if DOT requires it, then DOT's gonna require it.
no, then that's that. But I'm saying, making them do that that's my
We're not
thoughts
going
on
to go make them do that, because
No,
It would be, yeah. it would
DOT
be-
would be the one that would
DOT
have.
did ask for our perspective, right? So
I mean,
Yeah.
the time to really do it is if the Van Valkenburg Plaza comes in, where they could dedicate some land and put a sidewalk in.
But when that would be their cost, right? Van
Understood,
Valkenburg.
yeah.
Sure. Okay, that's what I'm saying. But the way it sounded to me was like you wanted them to extend it 500 feet or whatever.
So it
I
was
don't
the
want
DOT
it.
comment,
DOT,
Rob.
well-
It was the DOT.
Okay, well then I don't agree with the DOT.
That's fine.
That's my opinion on
Other
that.
comments?
So.
Anything else?
Well, no, I think I've hit things. I'm going to go through the drawings and look at it in greater detail. But thank you. Thank you for addressing all the other issues I sent, because I sent you pages of things. And
Yes, I remember.
and you addressed them all. I made sure that those were done. So, yes, I thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you, Rob.
Yep.
Ms. Wasser?
I want to thank you for just generally listening. I don't know if there's agreement, but I certainly know that you listened to everything that was discussed and asked of you, and I appreciate it. And I love this building, this retail building. It's really special. I echo Rob's comments on all of the design, and I also agree with Dylan's comment on the sidewalk. I don't know who's making this final call, but if it's our board, it wouldn't be me. So, and I think we'll leave it right there.
Thank you, Steph.
Thank you. Mr. Oliver.
I'll try to keep it short and sweet, but, so I really appreciate the deeper look that you did in the back of the house building. I think that really helped us understand, you know, some of the things that's, the program that you have going on there, and helps for me understand the parking and, you know, intended future use, and I appreciate that. I really appreciate the architecture on the buildings. I think it's going to be an awesome gateway to the town of Hyde Park, like you had mentioned. I think it's great. I also really appreciate the 5-foot buffer for the sidewalk and the stone wall. I think that's very Hyde Park, and the extra snow storage area, and it will also give you some protection from the state plows along Route 9. From a maintenance standpoint, it's a major issue when those state plows come by, so I think that's really going to be helpful. Regarding the screening along the sport court, possible idea, listening to some of Rob's thoughts and kind of brainstorming myself as we talk about it, a possible like a privet hedge, where that would also give you some sound attenuation, along with restricting the light trespass and adding a landscape element to it. Now for my, you know, deeper comments regarding the access, the interconnection road, I agree with our consultants deeply. To me, also listening to Chris's comments regarding the utilities for that sidewalk possible connection that DOT is suggesting, looking at it from, you know, just an engineering and planning standpoint, you're going to be relocating your EV charging utilities, your utilities for your charging of your golf carts, your compactor utility, all the costs, and I hear what you're saying, that the extra costs that will be assumed to construct a sidewalk going north onto the neighboring property, I understand that. I respect your concern. But then it's contradictory to your statement of, we're going to design something knowing that we're going to have to dig up all of our utilities and relocate them for future. It just seems contradictory. You're building something with the intent to rebuild it in the future, and we don't know that future date. So again, I agree with our engineer and our legal counsel regarding why would it make sense to build something right now, that just do one plan and build that plan with the possibility for the connection. Regarding the DOT comments on that sidewalk, I am fully in favor of it. I understand the, you know, burden that it puts on you guys, and I respect that. Just a different perspective would be that when you were thinking of the Saki building, that intersection is different now. There's more components going on, and there's the possible reason that it's being brought up again to extend that. But again, I respect your position on it, but obviously as a planning board member for the town, my job is, at least the way I see my job, is to help plan for the future of our town and its residents. So that's where my comments are coming from. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Lee?
Okay, so first, architecture. Thank you very much. This is a much improved north elevation. We love how you put the gable also over there, and how there is that entry door for that one end tenant. It might be helpful to put that sidewalk from the front all the way to that door. And just speaking of sidewalks, these renderings are beautiful, and they do bring in what you guys are doing on your campus to Route 9. So we appreciate all of that. But when I look at these renderings, I'm thinking about people at home who look and watch and look at all of the things that we submit. It doesn't quite look, there's no pedestrian experience here. Meaning on rendering 3, I can see your rock wall that you're speaking of. I can't really see, in rendering 1, I can sort of see the sidewalk. But in rendering 3, as the sidewalk is supposed to go around to the back of the building, which is really the front of the building, I don't see that in rendering 3. And it would be really easy to do, just to make the walkability of people who are interested in this project understand that they'll walk around the building, and they'll have a sidewalk to do that. Right now, that just looks like a curb. And then just a few other things about that, Michael. You know I'm not going to tell you what to do. But, you know, if this is a real stick in the mud for this Route 9 entry into these retail spaces, we all know that we've seen fixed pane walls like this with doors in them. Is there a way that we can do something that will satisfy the zoning and still keep what you're trying to accomplish? So just think about that, because I don't want it to stick it to you at the end about that. I think that might be something that we're overlooking. It sounds big to me.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would agree with that. I forgot to bring up my comment regarding the front access. I do think it's essential.
I don't want to act like it's not a big deal.
No, and I can, with all the other stuff, I don't want to overlook it, because, again, that's been my whole point, is the access to the public and not kind of closing its door to them and not having an access along a public front walkway. I think that's because this is the front of the building.
So maybe, you know, your sidewalk going around to that access door on the north will help that, but, you know, maybe thinking about how maybe these fixed panes can be, there can be some kind of door that is also looks exactly like this. We've all seen that before. Not, again, telling you what to do, but I just don't want it at the end of this process to be the thing that bites you, because it's gorgeous. And then just a few general statements about the other housekeeping things. Personally, I think it's a huge overreach to ask you guys to do a sidewalk in front of someone else's property. I understand we're planning for Hyde Park, but I also know that we're working with you as partners. I think that's a lot. And then I actually think it would be really easy to move the compactor and the other things, the golf carts, that's pretty easy stuff in my book. I feel like you would have to put a gate there anyway if you removed all that stuff, because then people are going to drive through there anyways. You're going to have to remove that gate. So for me, that's an easy move if we ever decide. And I appreciate you really thinking about access in the future, and that's what we asked you to do, and you did that. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Guercio.
Okay. There's been a lot said.
Then pull the microphone up and speak.
I'm not going to regurgitate what everybody else has said, but I agree with Dylan's initial comment that there needs to be some sort of front entrance in the front of the building.
I hear you, I'm sorry.
John,
I think that there should be a front entrance in the front of the building. That's just me. I'm assuming, if I understand the sidewalk controversy, I'm assuming there's a sidewalk across Route 9, right, in front of the building? And then you were talking about putting a sidewalk here? Along this one?
Well, there is one.
There is
It just
one.
doesn't show in the
It
rendering.
doesn't
I
show
think it's
it.
just the poor rendering.
Okay,
Yeah, the
that's
rendering just
fine.
doesn't show that.
Just
And
a-
then
What
I'm
about
also
the-
talking about
There you go,
The north-
Michael, another poor rendering, huh?
Yeah, I'm also talking about this.
The north
Talk
side.
to your person
Yeah,
there.
There's
There's a door there.
to say.
There would be a sidewalk to there.
Yeah, shown.
Okay.
Yeah.
See it on this drawing.
I'm fine with that. If in the future somebody does something with the building north of that, they'll be able to connect to that sidewalk, right? Okay. As a Hyde Parker, fourth generation here, also building, I would find it really hard to compel a builder to build a sidewalk in front of somebody else's building. I'd be very upset. But as a Hyde Parker, I would love to see that sidewalk. Okay? I mean, that's where I am, but I mean, DOT can do what they do, you know? That's all I'm gonna say on that. I think the building's beautiful. I feel my role is, this is gonna be a tremendous asset to Hyde Park. As far as this connecting to the back of, connecting the two buildings with this proposed, again, I would love to see you do it. And honestly, I mean, you did what we asked you to do. But to compel you, I don't see how we can, I wouldn't want to compel you to do something. But as a Hyde Parker, I want to connect the two properties, you know?
Come on, John, it's tough out.
I know,
John, the question now is not that they actually make the connection, but do you want a site plan where they're not putting things in the way of the connection?
yeah, but I interpret it as them putting a road cut, showing it, putting a curb across it, and putting some infrastructure in there. So now they have to go back to the, basically the drawing board and redistribute what.
They did it already.
They showed that
They
plan.
showed it to us, it's just a
Yeah.
matter of whatever.
I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. I don't know. I feel like compelling somebody to do something they don't want to do is, I don't know. There's a lot that goes into that, right? You were talking about getting agreements between the property owners.
Not making the connection.
That's later.
What Pete and my comment was should the site plan now, where they show that they can add the parking spaces on the
Yeah, I
other
know.
side and relocate the dumpster, should they do that now so that it doesn't have to be done in the future?
Well,
And they
that's-
wouldn't have to come back and move it all and do it.
Right.
But what isn't it,
Careful.
Chair, isn't that our choice? If we,
That's their call.
if we decide to do it because who knows when this road is going to get built, and we're committing to, we will make these changes, we won't do anything that precludes that later on, and we'll put that in writing.
This is our discussion now,
Shouldn't
right
that
now.
be our choice?
Yeah, all right, thank you, Michael.
Well, that's, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, let's save it for
You
another
keep
day.
it offline, I guess. I don't know. To me, it's, there's just so many variables there. I
And
don't
it's an
know.
important site. So-
Yeah, only other thing is, I would say, is the fencing seems to be light, in the sense that you have a beautiful building, beautiful project, and you're talking about chain link fence with slotted vinyl stuff. Okay?
Even if it's the good stuff.
Even if it's the good stuff. I would think you'd want to do something in line with the
Screening.
level of project that you have, that's all. With that being said, that's it.
Thank you so much. You've gotten a lot of comments. I have some comments also. I'm trying to think of the best one of your drawings, or maybe the one that you have right there. Can you zoom in on the back? Can you make that really big? If you show the whole back, no, just down the half side of the back of health, just blow it up a little bit, if you could.
Oh, yeah.
So, let me ask you this. So, in between the trash compactor and, I guess, one of the garbage, what's yes, what is that?
It's a fire lane. The trucks have to come around the back to service that side of the building, so
Okay.
it accommodates that.
Oh, okay, so it's not actually, so a fire lane to me means that they should be able to access it from the other side.
No,
They have to, so if something happens, so that's not a fire lane for a fire truck?
It is.
it is.
It is.
It is.
Not to pass through, but to access the building on that side.
Obviously, if there's a connection,
Please use the microphone, I'm sorry.
if there's a connection in the future, that too would serve as the fire lane.
So what's beyond to the east of that area? Is that a fence?
Right there.
Right there?
Yeah.
So that's a fence? Okay, here's my point. If you were to take the interconnection that we're talking about here and implement it, that's all you need to do. You can still put up the fence. You can still stripe out something for the... I mean, maybe you're thinking because of the garbage, right? But you've made the garbage so it goes in and then it can go back out and come back out through that access way. I guess I'm just not sure why the current, when you show us something and tell us how it can't be done, you just put up a fence. If you have a fence there now, that's what you would do, because you're not ready. You don't want to enter into all these negotiations and have people going back and forth. Just keep the fence.
All right, let us,
So that's my point, is of how you could actually put that interconnection on the site plan and not add any more angst to your plate. So the other item, and I do really like the changes to the architecture. You weren't here when we were shown the first pass, but I do have a question. So our code, how long is the building beyond? No, I know that's over 279, but the actual back-of-house building is it's like a 180 or something, 180?
Yeah, I want to be clear, it's one building.
Right.
It's not the front building or back
No,
building.
I know, but it visually...
I gotcha. Yeah, about 185 feet.
Okay,
Yeah.
so our code requires that to be broken up every 100 feet.
Right, which I think the elevations show that we're doing that with the gable, and there's a setback, and then we're applying
I
wood
can't
panel.
really- I'll be
I
honest,
know the elevations are not good.
The rendering, I
On the
can't
set.
see it, but when I look at the rendering, I can't really tell.
No, I
but
got
it
it.
looks like it's just one flat roof there. I don't see.
No, on the set you're
northern
going to
elevation.
review, yeah, you'll be able to see that there's articulation in the facade.
Yes, but I need that in, it's every 100 feet. You can't go a full 180 feet without
no.
breaking it up.
It's a rendering issue.
I just want to,
I got
I'm
it.
focusing on the code,
I understand.
so, and I can't see it, I'm not quite sure what I'm looking
It's
at.
the page that doesn't show.
Yeah, on the set we sent, you'll be able to see.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
rendering issue.
It's a rendering.
Believe me, I'm texting them right now. Those guys aren't going to want to come in tomorrow.
Okay, we might be able to see it better, but for now, it just looks like it's,
Are these two gables here?
and again, I mean, I understand if it's going to be screened, but, or not seen by, but you, for every applicant who has come before us, who we have held their feet and made them.
I understand.
I need that.
Just so you know, on that elevation, are you talking about the roof line specifically?
If you read our code.
No, I get it. I get it. I was just asking.
So it can be done a number of ways.
I got it. And I'm just to
It
let
can
you
be
know,
done
there's
number of
a
ways. You can
4-foot
put little
eve.
false little,
I got you. I understand.
yes.
Yeah,
doesn't-
but we've built a 4-foot deep eave there so that we can have the building actually have an in and out, which
And
you'll
have you
see
met
in the
my friend
elevation.
Rob here?
I
Because
have,
Rob
yes.
might have some ideas.
I know, I got you.
On
I know.
what you might do.
I think the rendering might not be showing the three-dimensional.
It's behind the building.
I just want to make sure that we don't get so far down and go, oh,
Yeah.
you know, you didn't do that.
Yeah, the basic.
Okay, so let's talk sidewalks. I understand why the DOT may have asked for that. I'm hearing from everybody, not only your side, that it, technically, all of the work that you would have to do that. And as a Hyde Parker, I understand that I would like a sidewalk there, but I don't think I want to force you to do that. But I would like to bring up the sidewalk in the corridor business district to the south. unless I'm missing something, that should just be a sidewalk.
To the property.
And we have talked a lot, and you continue to tell us how that can all be diverted into your site because as an alternative. But I think somebody up here said that this is becoming a very exciting part of Hyde Park. There's eventually going to go something across the street. There's going to be something, people are going to be walking up Route 9 from both the Culinary and Belfield. Why, if it's required in that district, and you're asking this board to say that they really want you to move the zoning so that it's there, why would the first thing you say is, okay, so we want to change the zoning, we want it to be zoned here because we don't want to have to deal with a 150-foot setback, and oh, by the way, we're not going to put a sidewalk there. So, given the opportunities here for sidewalks, I think the one to the south is making, again, we hear it all the time, it's a sidewalk to nowhere. But, you know what, it's a requirement for the district. You're asking the zoning to be changed so that you can do things within that district. I think at this point, I would like to see the sidewalks. And I'm going to ask, because we just got all these papers and stuff, that the next time we meet, I want everybody to weigh in on those sidewalks. Because I pretty much heard nobody wants to force you to have to go through off of your property and deal with all that stuff.
It's a valid point.
So
The sidewalk you're talking about is to the south on the
yeah,
land
it
going
would be
down?
just beyond, in front
Yeah,
of the
here.
pickleball courts.
Just
I have a
that's
question.
where the central business zone is now?
Yes.
So there's a
It's required in the
sidewalk
CB.
that goes to the south, but it's in the property. Is that public access or no? It is, so that's a sidewalk that goes south.
The code provides that you either have in the
Microphone, Michael.
CB.
Michael.
I'm sorry. It's lying back. In the CB zone, the code provides that you have a sidewalk that runs along Route 9 or an equivalent public
Right.
sidewalk that gives you access to Route 9 and when we...
Understood. My point is, you're offering an alternative if you're going to the Culinary. If I'm trying to get down to Belfield, if I'm trying to get
I
there,
understand.
you haven't provided me an alternative.
But I guess the question becomes, would you rather have people come onto our site and use the sidewalks that run parallel to 9?
I don't know.
Or would you rather have people come and see that sidewalk, take it a little way, and then be walking the rest of the way?
I consider this planning
on
for
grass?
success. Again, you're giving an alternative for people who are going to the Culinary. I'm looking a lot broader and saying, I need something that gets me south. Not necessarily going through and snaking my way through and going across a pedestrian bridge and then finding I'm here on vacation, or I just bought a condo over in Belfield, and I found that I really like, I don't know why, walking up Teller Hill because I don't have any hills where I used to live, and this is great. I'm just saying, this is why the code talks about things like this, because it's not well, nobody's going to use it right now. This is an exciting time. In 10 years, we're going to look at this and say, oh, who knew?
Let us talk.
Okay, so
We're here.
this came up because I'm trying to write a letter of recommendation to the town board about why you should rezone. And if the first thing I have to say is, but they're not going to do this, I'm like, Okay, so then, do I have anything else? Interconnection. And I also really want to see some way of people to access without having to go all the way into the back. Here's where I'm coming from. Again, planning for success. You get that up, you've got this retail space. Everybody and their brother wants to go here. It's on their top list. Go to FDR, go to the retail spot right in front of NRI. Guess where they're going to park? A lot of them. they're going to park at the beer store.
Yep.
And they're going to walk over, and they're going to say,
She's not wrong.
They're not going to walk.
well, but I mean, again, you talk about signage and this and that.
Yeah.
I see something here, it looks great. Somebody told me, you can't miss it. You get to the top of the hill, it's on your left, you want to go in there. Do that. So I would like to see some kind of access, because they're going to park there. NRI's going to end up buying that sooner than later, because they're not going to want to hear all the complaints about how popular their place is and people are parking off-site. Anyway.
Maybe I'm missing something here.
Misunderstanding. Are you talking about a pedestrian connection?
I'm talking about a door.
A door.
There is
a door, access to the retail.
Door in the front.
Yeah.
Yes.
Seems unanimous.
Just so everybody.
But I'm just telling you why, because if you know, anyway.
For the record, I just want to say, there is a sidewalk, there's a sidewalk along the northern side of the building as well. It abuts the neighbor's parcel. There's also doors as well on the northern side of the building.
That was my question at the beginning, and
because we just got this stuff. So.
Are those egress, like emergency egress doors though? They're not, or are they doors into the main retail space?
It's a door into the space. It's really meant for egress. We can sign
Like
it and
emergency
put...
egress?
No.
Like,
Yeah,
so
egress,
people
yeah.
could walk in and enter the space?
Well, that is TBD. It's,
Oh.
you know, I mean, it depends on who takes the
I mean,
retail
obviously
space.
you don't know who's going in, but
And there's a huge security challenge. I've been doing retail my whole life, guys.
Plan for success.
I got
Plan
you.
for
I got you.
people who are going to be there all the time.
If that front sidewalk can go around to that door.
So you've
you're
heard
like
from
having
all of
this-
us,
Not a
that's
long
pretty
walk.
much everything that I had. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak to this application?
Yes, I would.
I do like Any more comments?
That was very good comments you had there.
Okay, so, here's where we're at, right? We still need to absorb the submission that was made today. I do not think that we'll be able to do, I mean, you should see our workload.
excuse me.
You should see our workload, trying to get through everything. So I would expect on the 17th that we'll be able to distill our comments. We might be this close to understanding the seeker. So it might be really close, but I don't think we're going to be there. Okay? But that's not a big deal.
No.
It's not a big deal. A few more weeks. Okay?
Okay.
So when would you like us to adjourn the public hearing to?
Next meeting. We love being.
That's the 17th.
That's the 17th. May I?
I'm based on.
Microphone,
what-
please. You keep thinking the thing
I know, I'm
that
sorry.
the laptop.
We're getting you a headset for Christmas.
I need one of those. Based on what I'm hearing, and that the 17th would hopefully be a meeting where you would feel comfortable after that, making a secret determination at your January meeting. So we'll be here.
We're getting so close on
Well,
so
I
many
think
of these.
if you hear, and one of the reasons why, and I apologize if I interrupted you a couple of times on the road connection, is really all the other issues we've talked about are really not impact secret issues. They're really more amending site plan,
Well, and
landscaping
sometimes it's
these.
just doing calculations and waivers for parking.
Right.
Okay? That's the one thing I heard that directly impacts seeker. Okay?
Well, we will
So-
go
but
back.
we're so close.
We will go
We're getting
back
close.
tomorrow and pull out where we wrote
Yep.
those and make a submission the next day or two on that. But, so to your point, yes, we would like to be adjourned
Then
the public hearing.
then may
to
I
the
get a
next
motion
meeting.
to adjourn the public hearing to December 17th?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
There you go, you're on for the 17th.
Just wanted to clarify, on that sidewalk that we were speaking of on the CB, you're talking about an extension within the right-of-way or an extension internal to the site that kind of meanders around the tree?
No, this would be along Route 9.
Along Route 9, okay.
Yeah, no.
Thank you.
Wasn't going to tell him, but.
Thank you.
Chair, could we also Could you please, you referenced the letter recommendation on the zoning to the town board, because they do have a hearing.
I'm working on it. You're going to send me you're going to send me a link, or you're going to send me something, right?
Right, I knew that.
Remember,
Okay, well, I wasn't sure what you wanted from,
well, all I have is just the petition, and it-
oh,
and you
okay.
said you had,
Then I'll send
you
you
had given
that
some other
tomorrow.
materials.
Sure, thank you.
Okay.
And would you also,
Which I think I was authorized at the last meeting to write that letter.
correct, correct. And they have a public hearing on the 8th. They need that letter before their public hearing.
Right, but they
Can't take an
They can't take
action,
any
but they
action.
can, the public hearing's been noticed, they'll hold the public hearing.
I'm sorry,
I'm
I
not
missed the discussion. Are you? He's requesting the
So
zoning.
so the letter recommending the rezone.
Right, but you were just saying you wanted them, before you would write that, you were asking them to.
Yes, I
to
feel
show
like
they
I'm,
can
feel like
comply
I'm.
with the zoning.
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
Does it, I mean, we just talked about the requirement for the sidewalk in that zone.
We talked about a number of things. The question I have is, how would you like us to come back to you with a response and an updated plan set?
So, okay, I would say that at this point, with the submission, everyone needs to take a look at it.
Okay.
They're going to come up with questions. There'll be maybe amended comment letters coming from the consultants. That will set the stage for, okay, what kind of a list are we looking at? What's really outstanding? What can be put on as waivers? Is seeker closed out at that point? Okay?
It seems like, so we'll offer our perspectives on that stretch of sidewalk at the next meeting, and so just, I suppose, taking a look at any potential challenges that would be involved with that would be a, good move.
I'm sorry, are we talking about the southern side?
Yes, the southern.
Okay.
We're not talking about the...
property.
So
you've kind of heard
with
across the board
respect to the zoning petition,
Anyway, I'm pulling that together.
you're pulling that
And I
together.
told you that I found it difficult if I'm going to
I'll-
recommend something only to say that, but they don't want to do one of the major requirements of the zone.
Well, that.
Anyway.
That stretch, the pickleball court's already in the CB zoning. The zoning's not affecting that small strip.
Yes,
You're
it does.
rezoning
That's
that
why
to
you moved it
CB.
there.
I don't think that's necessary. We left
Otherwise, you would have had to put those pickleball courts 150 feet
it in the
back.
CB. It's
Check the-
existing,
Check the zoning map.
it's existing
think you're
Victoria
right.
CB.
So this is why we all need to go up and just check our checklists and figure it out, okay?
Okay, but we would appreciate that.
So my comment letter may say, we are still discussing the project. I'm working on it. It's,
Okay.
Well, so, because the town board can't take action anyways, so.
what I was gonna write a letter saying, I need more time, because we're still working
Good. I think that's
on
a
all
good
this
solution.
stuff.
On the zoning, per se?
It kind of goes part and parcel with the project, right? You're requesting the zoning for this plan and.
But the zoning was, the zoning, I thought we were all in agreement, and doesn't really affect some of the issues we're talking about. Zoning was, I thought, agreed to.
Right, you're bringing the SAD up, you're bringing the SAD closer and taking up a lot of
We're
CB.
certainly doing
because
the
you're-
SAD, but the sidewalk, and the sidewalk that
So
you're
I'm in
talking
the
about.
process
where's
of
the,
reading through
entrance?
all of that. I'll either ask for an extension or I'll write a letter.
Is that the entrance?
Okay.
Okay.
Discuss the sidewalk issue for you to write that letter, if you're struggling
Well,
with that.
that portion is already in the CB.
Okay.
They're bringing the SAD up.
Yeah, it is in the CB, and the SAD's going around it.
Right.
Right. But the SAD, again.
There's so many items.
SAD doesn't affect the zoning application
Michael,
that we
go
want
home.
the recommendation.
The town board
night.
can't make a
Good
decision
night.
anyways.
He's
until
got a long
seeker-
drive home.
Michael, the town board can't make a decision until seeker's done anyways, so
Thank you for your input this evening and your comments that
make
you
it
gave
open the
us.
hearing without it.
We look forward to seeing you on the 17th.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Chris.
Thank you so
I
much.
don't see why not.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, we like the.
Go like this, Michael.
You
Pat
can give me
yourself on the
It
back.
keeps with your theme
Our next
originally.
item on the agenda
There's
is,
ways to
we're done
have
with
a
new public
patio in the
hearings.
back for the cafeteria.
Our next item on the agenda is a continued public hearing.
Sorry.
Sorry.
That's quite all right. Oh, you know what, we'll take 5 minutes.
Yeah, I just
I'm
wanted to
losing
get
a lot
him
of
some.
members.
You can push the mute button.
I know, but
Continued public hearing with Belfield. This is for the Sterling PUD Phase 2, FDP Lot 8. May I get a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Reopen the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Terrific. Thanks for having us here again tonight, and we'll keep this quick, but this is going to be mainly updating the board on where we're at.
Yep.
Pass Road did submit the next site plan set, so it's all updated with comments, updated architecture, updated landscape architecture. That was submitted today. The hard copies were submitted today. The electronic copy came in yesterday. So you have that. Chris also issued the SWIP, and so that was circulated to Pete, Tad, Cynthia, and we're going to plot some, we'll plot it out tomorrow and get it to everybody. So the site plans are done, and the SWIP, the full SWIP is done for review. And Lynn just sent me the easements today, the rest of the balance of the easements, so I have them. I'll circulate those. We are making very good progress with the fire chief. He's telling us we'll get a comment letter on Friday, but we did work through some of his major concerns, and we're happy with the progress. As a result of that, we might have to modify some easements a little bit. We're still, finalizing the site plan. And with that, our next meeting is with the town board on Monday night. And then, so just to, I know you got a ton of work, but.
It's been written.
Okay.
It's been reviewed.
Good. So
I will be sending tomorrow.
Yep.
The comment letter to the town board for the height and length variations.
Terrific. And that's really it for tonight.
Nice. That's it?
Yeah, that's it. And we're looking forward to...
Larry. Right, Larry.
Larry, you had to read a room.
Yeah. We're looking forward to coming back on the 17th, the full team here, and then wrapping this thing up.
Excellent. Okay. I'm just going to do a quick tour around. Tad, any comments?
No comments.
Okay. Ms. Franson?
No comments.
Mr. Sotero? No. You're looking at the SWIP, right?
Not right now, but.
Well, not this moment. Ms. Polidoro?
Yeah, I haven't looked at it yet, but no
Okay.
comments.
Mr. Tuttle?
We lost our guy from Sterling? We lost one of our contacts?
Well, there's a new PM being assigned to it.
Okay.
That's just the way these things go.
Sure.
And the full team will be here the 17th.
Great, just looking forward to
Yep.
whoever
Yep.
we're going to work with next.
It's still
Great.
full steam ahead.
Yep.
Full steam ahead. Off we go. So,
Cool.
Excellent.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We're getting on well with him, so that's good.
Same architect, same team, same team.
Great.
Anything
Thank you.
else?
No, nothing else, no.
Mr. Waters?
No comment.
Ms. Wasser?
Oh, I'm sorry, and I just want to say, I said I would look at the lighting plan, and,
Yeah.
I did look at the lighting plan. It looks good. Nothing stood out to me, so I just wanted to tell you that. There's a few spots in the parking lot where it seemed like it could be a little more even, but that's just a suggestion more than anything
Okay,
else. So,
terrific. All right.
Ms. Wasser?
Oh, I said no.
Okay, sorry.
It's all right. And then
Mr.
Billy
Oliver.
added in.
No comment.
Ms. Lee?
No comments at this time.
Great.
Mr. Gercio?
No comments.
Great.
Okay. Would anybody in the audience like to speak to this application? Okay. So you are asking us to adjourn the public
Yep.
hearing to the 17th.
Yep.
Don't we have something? We do. I think we have something.
Oh,
We
yeah.
have a resolution reaffirming the secret determination. So let me get a motion to adjourn the public hearing to the 17th.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And,
I've got this one.
good.
Okay. Resolution to reaffirm a secret determination of significance, negative declaration, Belfield amended final development plan, Phase 2, Phase 2B, Sterling Apartments, Site Plan, Lot 8, Resolution 2025-54A, whereas. Now therefore be it resolved that based upon the entire record before us, the planning board hereby determines, 1, the extensive environmental record before the planning board is sufficient to assess the potential impact of the project. 2, the project and its related subdivision plat relating to Lot 8 and surrounding lands are in substantial accordance with the secret findings statement adopted by the planning board on December 8, 2021, and by the town board as involved agency on December 20th, 2021, and will not create any significant adverse effect upon the environment, nor will it result in any new or potentially significant adverse environmental impacts that have not been previously addressed or were inadequately addressed in the existing EIS, and there is no need to prepare a supplemental environmental impact statement, nor any need to amend the previously adopted secret findings. The planning board continues to retain jurisdiction within its final development plan, site plan, and subdivision authority to impose conditions it deems appropriate to maintain such consistency. 3, the board hereby reaffirms its previous certification initially adopted on December 8, 2021 that the requirements of the secret regulations have been met and that, consistent with social, economic, and other essential considerations from among the reasonable alternatives available, that the action hereby taken is one that avoids or minimizes adverse environmental impacts to the maximum extent practicable.
Is there a second?
Is that me? Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you very much.
I think it's the fastest 2 times we've seen you.
Thank you.
I didn't even have to unroll my warrants.
All right, that is it for public hearings for the evening. We're now going to enter into workshop. Our next item on the agenda is the Caris Memory Care at Belfield.
Hey, hold on, hang on.
Yes.
Jennifer, second.
Oh, thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening again.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Can't promise I'll be quite as quick as the last one there because it's our first time presenting here, but this is, of course, a workshop, so it's our first time getting the site plan set in front of everybody, and we want to take that, necessary first step through the workshop and gather comments and give an overview of the project, and I guess collect everybody's thoughts so that we could keep moving along in the process. I think everyone here knows me, but just for the record, I'm Chris Laporte at Passero Engineering, and here with Chris Hahn with the Caris Memory Care. So, if you'd like, I could start with a brief overview of the project, and,
Perfect.
And then maybe let Chris, and talk more about the operations and the function of the facility. But just to give it a little bit of context, this is on the north end of the Bellafield property. We are on St. Andrews Road, and this location was, originally back in the early 2000s, I think the wastewater plant was proposed over there, and then it was shown as a commercial use. I think I was a
Restaurant.
potentially a restaurant on the Hart-Howerton master plan there. And this parcel, it's kind of triangular shaped, and it's along the Marici Kill corridor, so it sits up quite high above the Marici Kill. And then on the east side of the site, which is, or the west side of the site, which is page down, we have our north rotated here. There's another drainage channel that connects to the Marici Kill. So we're kind of on a peninsula that sticks out between the two streams. We've done some initial geotech, and it matches pretty well with the profile that we saw in the USDA soils maps. It's Hoosick sand and gravel, so we've got some really good dirt there. We anticipate it'll be really favorable for stormwater management, for infiltration. As you head page up over towards our curb cut, you do start to encounter a little bit of rock there. The profile changes a bit. We went out there, walked the site, really found the best place for the curb cut. It is a little bit of a rough entrance to get in there, so we wanted to minimize the rock work and, find an ideal spot, avoiding power poles and everything else in that area. So, the St. Andrews corridor is limited access. We're only able to have, one curb cut there. There's always been one since the original seeker plans in that general location. We did tighten that up, and we've met with the county numerous times now, and it actually requires legislative action to approve the curb cut location there, and so we've worked that out, and my understanding is that that should be complete before the end of the year. So we're moving along on that, and so we have the one curb cut on the site. We configured the parking the best we could to provide landscaping and circulation. We have a drop-off circle in the front, but we kind of tried to use line striping to allow for circulation for fire trucks or larger vehicles, so that you don't need to make that weird maneuver to get through there. The building is a 14,000 square foot building. It is there's a faint line on that runs across the page right on the left side of the building there. That's the 150-foot setback along St. Andrews. So it was, very challenging to fit the site, because we do have the flat pad, but then it drops off in either direction down to the streams below. So we had to stay within, the topography and that 150-foot setback. So there really wasn't a lot of room for the placement of the building. It kind of had to go there. We still do have a decent buffer, and we're trying to preserve a lot of that existing vegetation along St. Andrews there. We'll be doing some new landscaping where we're disturbing the site. There is one break in the trees there. That's where our utilities are going to go. We're going to have the water and sewer going out to St. Andrews. We have had some early discussions with Jason Teed. He provided us some of the record mapping, so we know the connection point for the water main, and also Pete, I know you shot me a note about this. We're showing a sewer force main there. That's something that we're going to need to get to the Bellafield northeast corner, and we're going to work that into the Phase 3 Bellafield plans, because we're going to need to deliver that for this project, and we could coordinate how we terminate it over at the corner of St. Andrews Road there. But
And then are you going to run a gravity line down 9 to get to the wastewater plant?
No, we're going to run from the corner of 9 and St. Andrews. We're going to run a force main. This project will have a pump station that'll pressure tap into it, and as we head further to the east, where we enter the back of the Bellafield subdivision where all the residential is, we're going to be able to gravity it from there to the wastewater plant.
Okay.
Okay. And the water main is on the other side of St.
sorry.
Andrews, so we should be able to work that out. That's, a detail that we'll need to cross if it's in the right-of-way or on Bellafield's property. I think we're going to work that out with the county. But it seems like there's room that we could avoid utility conflicts and get it along that corridor and, service this project and also set Bellafield up for the future of the northeast corner there. The building, a 14,000 square foot, one-story memory care facility. We have 29 beds and backyard area on the rear side of the building. It'll be fenced in. We have a few points of access along the front side that we're providing the sidewalk access. As I mentioned, the topography gets a little bit challenging. It's not a very big wall there, but what we didn't want to do was chase grade all the way down that slope down towards the stream corridor. We will, in future submissions, get that 100-foot setback shown from the Marici Kill banks there, but we're going to be staying well away from that. but we did put in a little retaining wall there just to hold the sidewalk in and, avoid having a large limited disturbance. That's, it's hard to chase grade down a slope. So we wanted to avoid that. And what we're, planning to do is that the southeast corner of the building will probably use the foundation wall to fit into the grade there a bit. So that's the high-level civil engineering. Oh, the gray blob on the bottom left, that's probably going to be an infiltration basin. We're going to need to do infiltration testing for stormwater, but from what we've seen of the dirt out there, we think it's going to be really favorable results, and hopefully that basin could get a little bit smaller too. We were already talking about kind of trying to reshape it just to open up the corridor around the building a little bit better. That's where we're at now. We submitted our first site plan set for review and comment. A critical next step will be to speak with the fire department. I just met the chief. We did call the office this morning, and we're coordinating to get a meeting set up so that we could, dive into the details of, what would be, proper for the fire department's needs. So I think I've talked a lot about the site engineering. Just wanted to give that, since it's our first time here, that little more deep overview. But I'd also like to give Chris a chance to, introduce Karis and the facility and the use here, and then open it up for comment.
This is on.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Two things, really. First, I wanted to thank you all for your tremendous help in getting the zoning amendment, which has allowed this project to stay on course. Big lift. I appreciate it. We love you. Second thing, contextually, I forgot to mention this. I think I've overviewed the project, what it's about, what makes us different.
Yep. Yep. Beautiful.
I wanted to mention.
It was beautiful. It was a good
No, I appreciate it. It took a lot of work, but we're financing this through what's called a HUD 232 loan guarantee program. As it turns out, I'm one of the stronger HUD 232 developers in the senior care space. Why that's important and why that's relevant is that program noodles and fine-tunes everything, everything. So from a code compliance, from an operational, from fire safety, building code, ownership, management, operational structure, entity, there is no pore that they do not look into. And I have suffered that indignity like 15 times. So I'm a known quantity to HUD, and I think that's important because it speaks to the quality of the process, the quality of the building, the design review, the site review. There's a bunch of third parties, and they all get a bite, that review every step of this project. And I think, having, maybe it's Stockholm Syndrome, but having suffered this so many times, I actually think now it makes for a better process and product. And so as a contextual factor, I think that I raise that to give a level of assurance that the process knows what it's doing. I think I know what I'm doing. I think Chris knows what he's doing. I think we can really knock this out of the park. And so that's something to keep in mind.
Excellent.
And apologies, I wasn't here for the zoning presentation if I overkilled it with the project overview. But,
no, but
no, you were good because now we're at the actual site plan elements.
Yeah.
So
perfect.
Yeah, now we're where the rubber meets the road. Anything else? No? Okay. So let me start. Ms. Moss.
One of the stumbling blocks that I thought we were going to encounter was the access onto St. Andrews, and I appreciate you working that out in advance. Thank you.
Yeah, my understanding is that the chair has championed the project and is bringing it forward.
Good.
Ms. Franson.
So we're still doing the review. Just real quick with the lighting plan, there were some maximums values for candles, which I actually don't see on the plan. So I just want to make sure the schedule and the table is matching the actual foot candles that are shown in the image.
We'll double check that.
Thank you. You'll be submitting architecturals at some point? Do you
Yeah, I
know
think
about
we'll
when?
want to do that for our next submission.
Yeah, we're looking to wrap our architectural by the end of this month.
Okay.
It's mostly site plan.
And those plans will be going for FHA review, ADA review, Department of Health review, Town of Hyde Park review. I think that's it, but 4 levels.
The backyard area, just curious about the extent of the grading, because you do start, at least the way it's shown, you start to get into slope. And you're on this kind of finger or tongue that suddenly just drops off. And so on the periphery of the backyard area, just want to look at it again, where the fence is and what the grading is, to make sure you're not getting into the slope, that you're kind of sitting above the slope. And the closer you get to that drop-off, the more grading there is, the more potential you open up views. I don't know that you're going to open up views to surrounding roads, but I'm just curious to see where you land with the grading overall. And again, just because of its location on that steeply sloping area.
Right. We did try and keep the fence in tight, but I see the contours start to get, maybe we went out a little too far over here. We could look at tightening it up. We were just on our first pass trying to maximize the size of the outdoor area, but this is certainly a configuration that we could fine tune, because we don't, like I said before, we don't want to chase grade down the slope or
Right.
disturb anything more than we need to here. We want to tuck it in as naturally as it'll fit.
And we're not going to have 8,000 square feet of backyard. That's a large area to keep track of people.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. And then the fence there, because you had like fence for the enclosure, you had fence for, I saw split rail, I didn't know if that was for the stormwater basin. What were you contemplating for the fence to protect, the residents that are back in there? I did see also a fence with a gate, but I didn't see a gate there, so I just wasn't sure, or if you could add a detail.
We're going to need
future
to add
submissions.
some gate locations. I think, it's going to need to be a secure fence, probably, 8 feet high. 10? Okay.
10 feet.
So, and we're going to continue to work out the details on the materiality, but I think we're going to kind of rework and get into the details of the backyard a little bit for our next submission here.
Okay, thank you, perfect.
We were just trying to get it in there and get the intent.
Start to
and
get
work
it.
out all the other details, so we'll keep chasing that.
Thank you.
Good preliminary comments. Mr. Sotero?
Yeah, I provided Chris, and I think Cynthia sent around to the planning board, provided some just quick bullet point, email comments after I just took a very quick look at the plan. So I'm not going to probably write a comment letter because, again, this is in the early stages. There'll be updated submissions, the stormwater plan. I think you're meeting with the fire department. That's obviously that was one of my comments that access is a little tough to the sides and the rear of the building, but you'll work that out with the fire department. And then I assume we'll get a subdivision application at some point with this.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if Larry is still here. Were we going to try and shoe this into the Phase 3 subdivision? So we're going to try and add this parcel into the Phase 3 remainder subdivision.
Okay. And then, one of the comments I always brought it up on the Belfield thing many times is, staging and storage area. Obviously, it's tight, very tight. I'm assuming you'll use part of, the Belfield property to the west, probably as a staging and storage area, but then you have to show that as, your disturbed area, assuming that that's what you would do. Because there's really no room here to work.
Yeah, we, I mean, we do have the parking area, but if you're right, we might need to
Well, you'll look
dig
at
a
it.
little
I mean,
bit
you'll
here.
look at it. You'll look at it, so. Again, we don't have to go through it all now.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
just-
we did have a little bit of grading to rough this in here, but.
Yeah. So you'll look
Well-
at it. I mean, it's part of your stuff, like you always do, so.
Yep.
That's it.
Thank you. Ms. Polidoro?
Hi, so the subdivision, putting some meets and bounds or maybe a distance from Route 9 would be helpful because you're not showing the full property. It was hard to tell where this is actually going to be.
Right.
I mean,
We could probably throw in a context plan.
Yeah,
too,
little
to show
context.
Yeah.
where
That would
it's-
be good.
Where it lands, yeah.
but when I look at the concept plan that was approved, the building and parking layout is pretty similar to what was there in the first place. But what I would like to see, if I didn't see that it was submitted, is some kind of narrative or explanation as to what's different from the concept plan and what's the same as far as the seeker review that was done, and how this, why this would not result in any new impacts that were not previously evaluated. Maybe it's lesser impacts, I don't know. But I think you should go back and give us an analysis of what the restaurant was going to do, what was the size of the restaurant, what was the wastewater of the restaurant, and now how you're using it.
Yeah. We'll definitely be lower on water and sewer usage, and traffic will be much lower as well. So I think that it'll be a lesser impact in almost all categories.
Yeah, they gave us a short form. Yeah, but I think you need to reference, go back to the concept plan, what was there, and, where are we now? And I would
little
like
bit
to
of a
see the
comparative.
setback line from St. Andrews on this as well. The 150-foot setback?
That's this line here.
Oh, that's that there?
Yeah.
Okay, is it labeled?
It has the 150 foot here.
Okay, I didn't see it when I
Maybe I
looked,
need
but-
to add the text that calls it a building setback, but yeah, there's a 150
But yeah,
foot
it should be
meter
like
there.
the St. Andrews setback. Or,
Yep.
Anything else?
I mean, and just if we're linking this to the remainder, then you have to move the remainder forward.
We do, yeah.
Yeah,
We've just been juggling a few applications, but it's on our radar.
Okay. That's it for now. We'll take a look. It's not ready to go to county planning yet. I mean, it's still missing the architecturals
Right.
and landscaping,
Right.
but.
Okay. Mr. Tuttle?
Thank you for the overview. I don't have much. I haven't had a chance to look at this in any detail yet. I can't believe I'm going to bring up my least favorite topic, but what is the parking count and how does it relate to what's required?
Sure. I don't know if I can zoom on this mouse, but
Yep.
I think we have around 29 spaces, and that's
So usually for senior care communities, especially around the Hudson Valley and just industry-wide, the parking ratio for memory care is less than 1 per bed.
Yep.
And the reason why is none of our residents drive.
Yeah.
And that would normally give us around 24, 25 parking spaces.
Yep.
So I think we're around that plus 4 or 5 for various visiting professionals and
Yep.
tertiary support.
Okay. Visitors, right? I mean, so obviously, I have no desire to overpark this. We are going through with the hospice house just up the road, a need to increase the number of parking spaces, which has been a little bit of a challenge. And in this constricted site, it's particularly difficult. When you were here to talk about the rezoning before, we spoke a little bit about potentially banking parking spaces. I just think it's a question that's worth examining a little bit. If it ended up being necessary, oh my gosh, I mean, like everybody wants to visit folks, and there's just a ton of people coming and going here, and we're full. What do we do? What's the where would you add a space or two if you needed to?
Belfield Inn.
At Belfield, yeah.
The Inn at Belfield.
Yeah, the Inn at Belfield. We'll shuttle service up the hill.
Yeah.
Or we'll get the sidewalk built up the hill so they can walk
No
it.
sidewalk there.
We'll take the sidewalk. As reference, I have a 32-bed property in Austin that has 22 spaces, and I will give you $1 million for every day that
Great, love to hear
that
it.
parking
Yeah.
lot has been more than half full.
Yeah, and maybe that's the answer. We've had this before with like self-storage, and when they had a code requirement that was way above what they actually needed. If you can provide us with some examples of other properties, especially ones that are sort of similar to this. I don't know where in Austin you're talking about. Austin, obviously, Austin's a city with transit and stuff where you might not need quite as many. It's also a city where everybody drives anyway. But I lived there for a couple of years. But it would just that might be one solution, is just to give some,
We have an analysis done of other communities up here in the Hudson, and a traffic engineer that looks at kind of standards
Great.
across the industry, so we can
Okay.
provide that.
Great. That's my only comment for now. Thank you.
Excellent. Mr. Waters?
Yeah, I looked at the drawing, I thought the way it's laid out is right, because you can't move anything anywhere else. It's kind of like it's like a shoebox, and you have to put things in order there. So the building is where it needs to be, the parking is where it needs to be. Obviously, we always try to get parking in the back, but in this case, you can't. But actually, I think it makes more sense being in the front, so like that. But the overflow parking, just to have some kind of a idea of it, or examples, like you said, because the hospice thing was something that I thought of, that now they want to put more spacing, more parking spots, and that's becoming like, where do they put it and how do they, drain it and stuff like that. So.
What did they park originally, and what are they looking for
I
now?
don't know how many was on that.
It was 14 beds. And I don't remember the spaces.
14.
We have the
We
files
can
here
look
in
it
the
up.
office. I mean, you can look at the
We can
files.
look it up.
Yeah.
But they're 14 beds.
And they wanted to add, what was it, was it
21.
They wanted to add 21 spaces. 21 spaces, yeah.
Wow.
In addition to the other parking they have.
Right.
Yeah.
Staff,
Yeah,
visitors.
So, I mean, but there is not much, it's not a lot of room to put a lot of things, but it's just to think about it anyway. Like, we've been, I think the theme tonight is planning. So,
There you go.
Plan for success. Plan for success. Plan for
What a concept.
Yes, we are. We're going to get one. We're going to get one.
Getting mugs.
Is that what you're looking up over there?
So I'm looking forward to seeing the architectural end of it. Yep, and that's it.
Thank you. Ms. Wasser?
I agree with some of with all the comments I heard. Actually, I think the description that Victoria requested about comparing the previous plan and the current one's going to be super helpful to zeroing in on what we have. And actually, I agree with all the comments so far, so that's all I'm going to say.
Nice. Mr. Oliver?
I appreciated your overview of memory care when we were looking at the zoning amendment, and appreciate that, and tying that into this site location. I think it's going to be really ideal location for it because of the serene environment and just kind of that calming nature that could go so far for that type of care. So I like everything I see so far in the plans, and look forward to elevations and architecture and all that. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Lee?
Yeah, I agree with Chris. I think it's a great use for the spot. I'm happy and excited for this project.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Curcio?
I mean, it's very early. I think it's a great project for the town of Hyde Park. It's something different that's going to fill a need. No comments other than that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we are very early on the project. This is exciting. We have so many projects that are, we're in the middle of them, and so it seems like, so this is nice and fresh. Still work to be done. We're going to see some elevations. I'm excited about this. And I think the point that having a letter for the industry, because my gut feeling is hospice is so different from this. Hospice, there's an immediate, fairly short-term, immediate
Good point.
memory care. It's kind of sad.
With a lot of
With not a lot of visitors. It's just part of the nature of that type of illness. So if you can give us letters that show how why the industry works, because I feel that they're apples and oranges. You cannot even come close to comparing the two. So excited to be seeing some elevations in the new year. So at this point, everybody's working on comment letters and just making sure. I'm so happy you're working with the fire department, because I think that was one of the biggest items that we want you to resolve as early as possible. Keep your fire department happy.
Is the chief here?
Yes.
I've got his business card. We're going to connect soon.
You're the man.
Excellent. So we'll expect to see you in the new year.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming out tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Our next item on the agenda is another workshop with highway displays, new to Hyde Park here.
Unless it's a single-story building, it's not a big deal, so.
We'll let you get set up.
It may not be that big of a deal for the taxes.
Maybe put it out of the outlet.
Okay, Al had mentioned that. Go up to, like the Delaware too. Yeah. Okay, no problem, man.
Welcome. Please introduce yourself to us.
Bye, Larry.
My name is Evan Hartman. This is my cousin, Michael Schwartz. We are president and vice president of Highway Displays. We're actually fourth generation.
Oh, wow.
Our company was started in Cedar Poughkeepsie in 1921 by our great-grandfather.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yes, as you mentioned, we're very happy to have recently moved up to Hyde Park, to Violet Avenue. Really, so far, been a great area, great neighbors. We're excited to be up here.
Nice.
Amy Bombardieri with Diane Secosa Engineering.
Excellent.
So they moved into the Zax V Twin building and at 799 Violet Avenue. And they have made just landscaping changes that cleans it up. They're looking to basically maintain the aesthetics of the site and just install a fence around the rear parking area, add to the plantings, and
The signage.
the signage, I'm sorry, the building mounted signage, yeah. So they're not looking to make any actual structural changes to the building or physical changes to the layout of the site. There are a couple things that were off from the previously approved site plan. So any changes that they make, in addition to what I just said, would be to bring it into conformance with that plan.
Okay. Was that previous plan the Loopy Mango?
No, it was prior to that. It was
Okay.
it was for Zax.
Okay. There it is. Can you make it full screen?
So that's the proposed building mounted sign.
Gotcha. Okay.
And you're going to remove the road sign?
Yeah, our plan is to remove the sign structure that was closer to the road. My understanding it wasn't in conformity with the sign code anyway, but due to
I'm
our type of
shocked.
due to
Shocked.
our type of business, we don't need something right on the road anyway.
Right.
Ironically enough.
You might know some sign people.
They can change it every month.
So we'd like to request that the site plan requirement be waived if we're bringing everything into conformance for the most part with the previously approved plan.
So wait,
I don't know what's
can you
going on
clarify
there.
that? Is that
Sorry.
that's what you're seeking is a site plan waiver, or are you here to seek site plan approval?
Let's talk with Tad on
Well, yeah.
that.
So if
I'm confused by that.
When we initially discussed it, there were no changes that were going to be made before you purchased the property. When the application actually came in, they're adding a pretty good-sized shed in the back. They're taking down the dumpster enclosure and having just small rollouts. They're putting a fence with screening around a couple of areas. So it got to be a little more than I thought was just a waiver. But they're requesting a waiver, so.
Got it.
They've also applied for site plan.
They've applied for site plan modification?
Okay. All right, so we'll work through all of that. But Tad, we rely heavily on Tad's ability to parse all this out and let us know. But, I mean, a site plan modification at this point, probably wouldn't be too bad either.
No.
Covers the cost of the sign.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
The refuse enclosure in the back is right now it's a concrete block structure that's like kind of falling down. So they don't actually produce too much refuse. So they were wondering if they could keep the rollout bins in the garage in the back of the site and then not replace the refuse enclosure if they don't need it, or if it's required, then they would go with the vinyl fence that was submitted.
Okay. Again, and we can talk about, do you have a picture of
I
the?
do. There's the refuse enclosure. So it's kind of
Yep, classic, behind the building.
right next to the
Yep.
tank. And that's the fence that would be proposed around the entrance to the rear parking and around the back side and the side that there's actually an existing fence there, a stockade fence that's kind of needs a little repair, but so that would go up to that. And then the proposed shed that they're considering is just a standalone shed.
What's the dimensions?
It was 12 by
10 by 14?
10 by 14.
Okay.
I'm having a hard time getting my site plan to load up.
Oh.
They should be on, they were on the other flash drive that was there.
Oh, really?
The one that says planning on it.
Ah.
My flash drive. Black one? Yeah. No, probably the other guys left it. That's what probably took it out.
Now you should be able to find it, hopefully.
So the proposed fence is this red line here with a gate that would go across the entrance to the back, and it would meet up to the existing stockade fence along this side and this side. The refuse enclosure is right here, and the proposed fence would be in this area. I'm sorry, the proposed shed would be in this area.
And what are you doing with the landscaping?
I just can't see.
The landscaping is, they're going to keep the landscaped islands the same as they are. If different plantings maybe should be put in.
It's extremely overgrown. We just would like to refresh it with something that looks a little better.
And then in the back here, there's, this is all a grass area. Actually, it's like half of this, right? It doesn't go all, it doesn't extend the whole way. And there were trees proposed, or shrubs proposed there, but they would prefer to just do grass behind there if that's possible. It's going to be out of sight since the fence
So
will
you
be,
can't see that from the road, right?
not with the fence, you won't be able to.
I don't know if the neighbor can see it
Ah,
over the top of the fence. I don't know, the stockade fence.
is it a residence behind you?
Yes. That, yeah, that's a two-story house too, right?
Okay.
And the restriping, the parking spaces are going to be restriped with the exception of the motorcycle parking spaces.
Okay. Well, again, it's great to have you here. It's great to have somebody in that building. Seems like a nice match. Seems like it works nicely. So I think most of your questions, I would like Tad to help us understand what the options are. Well, because we're looking at they're asking to waive a site plan, but
That's not my recommendation.
right. So we normally would look to Tad. So, thank you.
And the other feature in the front is, I think it's listed, it might be listed as a wall, but it's actually a rock infiltration trench that runs along Violet Avenue, and I would not want to cover that up or obstruct it. Because there
Right
is
here.
drainage along the front that needs to be dealt with.
Is that the side road? Is that the side road?
No, it's actually on Violet Avenue.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, right, okay.
When Zach V. Twin went in, I think they were required to do something with that for DOT.
Okay.
Okay. Go, no.
I was just paying attention to the plan. How many employees total do you have?
We have
Sorry, Tony. Thanks.
we have eight full-time employees, 3 that are actually in the office every day, 5 laborers that are typically in for a few minutes to clock in, and they're on the road.
Do you need a lot of paved area? Because there's 23 parking spaces.
No, ma'am. And like I would equate us to, like an HVAC company or a plumbing company. We don't have customers walking in or anything like that.
Thank you.
So, Tad, what we have in front of us is the old site plan, right?
That's right.
From when it was Zach's.
Yes.
So we would be looking to have that modified with everything you just detailed.
Okay.
They have permission from Mr. Andros to use his map.
That's great.
Modify it,
That's
so-
actually huge.
Yeah, so that's what
huge.
that's what you're looking at is
Yes.
a marked up version of his
Okay.
map.
He has helped you tremendously with that.
I know.
Amazing.
So it's a little bit less of a heavy lift.
Yeah.
To make these changes. You haven't described anything huge.
No.
It's going to look so much better. Excellent. Anything else, Tad?
No.
Okay. I don't think anybody's.
We haven't really looked at it, so.
Okay.
I'm just unclear. Is this the site plan, or are you coming back with one that shows like the detailed landscaping?
They're going to need to come back with the site plan
I
that
think they're
shows the
planning on.
modifications.
I think they're planning on using this with the Xed out garbage enclosure, the new shed location, showing where they intend to put grass, and the fence and the gate going into the back area. I think that's what the intention is. It's minor modifications. It's shown on the original plan, and that seemed appropriate for the request that they're making.
Okay, so if they are not coming back with a new plan.
Okay.
This would be a type 2 action. There's nothing that would rise to the level of
Yep.
unclassified or type 1. And you could make a motion to send it to county planning tonight.
No.
if you wanted to do that.
Do we have what they're going to be looking for, though?
Well, county planning might come back and ask for more details. That's why I asked if there was
Yeah.
a plan. But if this is the plan, then this is what would
So,
go.
Tad, help me to understand. So, but we would need to get an updated, somehow, what they're doing would need to be updated somewhere on something.
Using this as the base, I'll update it and show more detail and.
Okay.
That's what I would prefer
Yeah.
to send to county planning.
Okay.
And to have on our record, to be honest. They're not major changes, so.
No, they're not. The question of plantings is if the board has a preference of what to.
We have some people, including Tad, who definitely do have preferences.
Okay.
My colleague here is highly trained.
I'm pretty flexible though, so.
Yep. But if you're looking, like if you need to screen to the neighbor to the rear, there could be some great recommendations on what might work well there. But I mean, you're not talking about anything fancy, so just don't ask for any invasives and easy maintenance.
Okay.
Because the last thing I hate is to drive around and see the planter boxes that were going to be beautiful and they're just weeds. So keep it simple.
Yeah, I think they already cleaned up their planter in front of the site, so.
Okay, great.
We've seen what happens to them.
All right, so we will be getting an updated
Yes.
plan. And then that I would take and send to county. And
And
it'll
I
also
would-
be what we,
And I would need the height on the letters for the sign.
The height on the, oh yeah, we do have that.
Okay.
I would just add whatever notes you can. So for
Okay.
instance, if you show the red line and you're proposing a fence, just put some notes in the height, have a picture of what you're
Right.
proposing.
Say that, right.
Yeah, just
here's a screen grab that shows this is the type of fence we want to put in.
Yeah, just more notes about height, because when this goes to the county, they'll be looking at that. If I look at the fence right now, it almost looks like it's going through the two trees. So if you're proposing to keep the trees, put a note.
It's
you know,
going-
to
yeah,
remain,
yeah,
because
okay.
it may go on the left, or it maybe go behind it or in front of it, but just, again, more notes helps with a review.
Any other comments over there?
Do we have a public hearing with this, or this is a minor modification, Ted, or what?
It's a minor modification. I don't
So
see a
you
need for
you
a
would
public
consider
hearing.
waiving the public
Yeah,
hearing?
well, yeah, right,
But-
you have to vote to waive, right?
But you need a recommendation from
Yeah,
Tad.
no,
And
right, yeah,
it's-
yeah, yeah.
There is a neighbor, so I don't know if it's appropriate to waive it. I'll let you guys talk about that, but I'm
All right.
okay with
Everybody can
waiving.
weigh in. Thank you. Yeah. See, she holds a lot of cards here. Mr. Tuttle?
No real comments here. I agree that the waiving site plan is not appropriate. I tend to think, again, also because of the neighbors, we probably need to have the public hearing just in case. So come spend another night or two with us. We're nice.
It's fun here, right?
It is, actually. And a public hearing will get us on quicker, right?
Yeah, you're earlier. Yeah. I always feel bad for the folks who show up at 6 on a night like tonight. Frankly, I'd love to see more happen here. Like to get at what you were saying, there's a lot of asphalt on this place. It'd be great to re-landscape some of it, but I'm not asking you to spend that kind of money unless you want to. So, we'll looking forward to seeing a revised plan, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Waters?
Yeah, it was just the amount of parking for the site, for your use. But again, maybe that's something you'll do in the future, take that up and plant it or something.
I just want to make the point that the parking spaces in the rear, where the number 3 and number 2 are, and number 1, those are not paved. So that.
Oh, that's not paved.
Is that gravel or
It's grass right now.
Oh, it's grass.
Oh, it is
Okay.
grass.
Yeah, so that's from the original site plan. That was.
Oh, okay, so that's.
Oh, it'd be helpful
Oh,
if you
yeah,
mark-
take it
Yeah,
off.
so those-
Again, that would be a note to
Remove it.
put on there.
Yeah, of
Yes.
course.
No, remove it. Yeah.
So the pavement is not quite as bad as it looks on there.
Okay. Okay, yeah, that makes a big difference.
And they do need the space to maneuver trucks and equipment back there.
That's fine, but, yeah. Okay, great. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you for that clarification.
You'll show the
points.
restriping plan?
It,
You mentioned there'll be restriping.
Yeah, you're only gonna do the motorcycle and a couple
in
cars?
kind, with the exception of the motorcycle.
Yeah.
So they're just going to restripe the spaces that are there.
The grass, so those spaces are grass in the back?
In the back, they won't be striped?
Okay, so that you'll.
That's
yeah.
just grass.
Yeah,
That'll
Right, and so that would be something you would show on
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, okay.
Good.
Anything else, Ms. Wilson?
No, good.
Mr. Waters? Okay. Mr. Oliver?
Welcome to Hyde Park. Thank you for considering our town and filling a vacant building, and thank you very much. Well,
Thank you. Ms. Lee?
No comments, but welcome.
Thank you. Mr. Gercio?
No comments? Nice to see another business.
Yeah.
And guess something fine.
Just one other question. So you're billboard fabricators or
Yes.
installers?
Yes, we don't fabricate anything on site. We own the billboard structures, and we order the prints from an off-site printer, and then we install them on the billboards.
Okay, so I just was thinking about the public hearing, and if you have residential neighbors that, you know, if you're doing outdoor storage or if you're doing storage in the back, just it'd be useful to have a narrative that explains, you know, that they won't get concerned about noise or other potential issues.
Okay. Good point, yep.
Or visual, I mean, I don't know what you
Noise,
store back there,
yeah.
but.
Good points. Yes,
Hopefully it
so
goes
welcome
in.
to Hyde Park.
Yeah.
So what happens to the building that's on the arterial in Poughkeepsie?
It was sold. I believe it's being developed into apartments.
Ah, okay. Okay, I had to go there years and years ago, and you had to park across the street and run across the arterial to get in. It's a fascinating building, though. It's a fascinating building. I don't know what its history is, but we're really happy to have you here in Hyde Park. And so you've heard what we've said. If you could modify the site plan, talk with Cynthia, and get it in here, and then we'll schedule a public hearing, get you going. Okay? Thank you for
Thank you,
coming out.
everybody.
Thank you.
very much.
Oh, my goodness. Turn your pages. All right, next item on the agenda is a workshop discussion of the CECNY Six Senses Hudson Valley.
Okay, I gotta go.
Yes, thank you.
I almost
You, Ms. Archer.
Thank you, Amy. At this point in the night.
Lori Hellman. How are you? Hi, Lori.
Hello.
Welcome, ladies.
Good evening. It's lonely at the end.
I know.
That's what happens when you come late to the party.
We didn't submit late, but we're happy to be here late.
Yes, you've sent over a lot of materials. We really appreciate it. Helps to give us a much better sense of the overall project.
Good.
Even though our
It's very
piece
little.
is about this big.
Yes,
Yep,
yes, we like to
understood.
use that. So I'm Kelly Leibel with KRC Planning Consultants and Amy Argerakis with KRC Planning Consultants, representing CECNY Land Holdings. We're here tonight really to kind of conclude the seeker review in the town of Hyde Park. And as you had indicated, this is a project that is located, if everyone remembers, in the town of Clinton and in the town of Hyde Park. The improvements are located in the town of Clinton. So the portion that is located in the town of Hyde Park really is the existing driveway, and then a proposed new driveway. So just as a reminder, Amy has the screen up that shows this parcel. It's a really long, narrow parcel wedged between Route 9G and the Crum Elbow Creek. The portion in the town of Hyde Park constitutes about 8 acres. And as we had indicated, you can switch, Amy. As we indicated, there's an existing driveway access. Happy to do a field visit if anyone is interested in doing a field visit. But there is a existing driveway access that provides access to the existing conference center. And we are proposing a new driveway access for emergency vehicles only, and that's being required by the Town of Clinton Planning Board. So that improvement is located in the town of Hyde Park. The new driveway is just south of the existing driveway. We did provide you, as you had indicated, with a lot of responses, but I just want to hit some highlights of those responses, and then we can answer. I'm going to try to be brief. I'll answer some questions that you have. So one of the questions that came up had to do with what are some of the approvals that we've already received. And so the project has been before DOT for quite some time. In addition to the emergency access bridge, there are improvements on 9G in the form of a southbound left turn lane. So DOT has reviewed those plans. They provided us with 2 conceptual approval letters. I'm sure you know the DOT process, so you get that conceptual approval letter, and then you move forward with your design drawings after the lead agency completes seeker. So DOT is kind of like check a box. We've got the conceptual approval letters. As far as access and circulation into the site and around the site, the West Clinton Fire Department has reviewed this project because the structures are located in the town of Clinton. The only reason that Hyde Park would be called, I think, is if there were a second alarm call.
Mutual aid.
Mutual aid, thank you.
Yeah, which happens, you know, I mean.
All the time. So we can send the drawings to the Hyde Park Fire Chief, but I think that the preference is that once the bridges are in the design process, that the chief would like to see, or the deputy chief, the portion of that project.
Yeah, now, let me just go chime in on that, because I had talked to Ray Stretz today from Roosevelt on a bunch of things, and I mentioned this like project to him, you know, explain the project, and Ray said primarily it's west, like Clinton. Roosevelt would be called in on a mutual aid. So Ray had said that he would just like to see whenever the bridge plans become, you know, available, to take a look at, you know, the bridge plans when they, you know, when, you know, they're ready. So, but West Clinton's going to be primary, and then Roosevelt will be called in as mutual aid.
Okay.
Okay. And then lastly is OPRHP. So SHPO or OPRHP had reviewed the entire project, and we added the emergency access bridge later. And I think Bonnie had pointed out that OPRHP had to just review that little portion where the new emergency bridge was. We sent it to them and they signed off on it. So this just kind of provides a summary of the approvals that we have, the sign off that we have of outside agencies to date. We also have worked with New York State DEC to have the wetlands delineated on site. There was a problem with a few of the flags, and so we had DEC re-verify the validation map. So this plan shows you the validation map that's been approved by DEC, and you have that for your records. We've also commenced the submission of a New York State DEC incidental take permit for the Blandings turtles. Even though there aren't any Blandings turtles that have been identified on the site in decades, the habitat, the site contains husic soils, which is, as you know, I'm speaking to the choir here, is habitat for the Blandings turtles. So we've commenced that process with New York State DEC. So we did provide you with an amended site plan set. I think we addressed all of the comments that had been raised by the town engineer and the town planner. Just a couple of things to note. One of the questions I think that Bonnie had asked for was just a discussion of the disturbance that's going to occur in town of Hyde Park. So we did provide you with this map. I know it's absolutely impossible to see on that screen, and it's probably impossible to see on your PowerPoint, but I can just review it with you very quickly. So,
which page is it on?
So it is page 9. So it's the plan that has the blue shading on it. So in the town of Hyde Park, New York State DOT obviously runs through this area. And the portion of the improvements that will be affected on the New York State DOT right-of-way is 1.49 acres. But it's important to note that within that 1.49 acres, there is no new disturbance, meaning there's vegetation or soil that's going to be disturbed. All of that area is within the existing paved area or the existing right-of-way, which is gravel or impervious surface. But we did have to just provide you with that square footage so you had that, or acreage. In addition, there are some what we'll call newly disturbed areas, which constitutes 0.48 acres, and we just show the shading on the plan, and each of those acreages are called out, so you can add those up. It's predominantly the areas where the new bridge would be located, and then where there's modifications to the existing ingress egress. In addition, it was asked to provide the wetland disturbance calculations, and because the way the wetland is situated on our project side of 9G, if you're going northbound to the right, the wetland buffer extends over New York State 9G, Route 9G, and so you're working within the buffer when you're on Route 9G. So the work that's going to occur within the wetland buffer on Route 9G is 0.93 acres, but again, it's already disturbed, so we just want to point that out. And then the area within the site that would be disturbed, so the buffer disturbance is 0.45 acres. Obviously, all of that will be coordinated with the necessary permits with New York State DEC. Michael Fishman is our consultant on this project, and so he'll coordinate all of those permits with New York State DEC. There was an amendment to the rendering, so I think the driveway, there was something wrong. It sort of looked skewed, the other driveway rendering, so we fixed that, and that's been amended on the rendering plan. There were some discussions regarding, you're good, the construction of the bridge and the sequencing of the construction of the portion of the work in the town of Hyde Park. So, for example, how are we going to do the bridge construction? And so it's our position, and we've presented this to New York State DOT for their review, is that we would build the new bridge first. And that's only supposed to be used for emergency access. But while the other bridge is being modified, obviously there would be a temporary use of that bridge. As soon as the new bridge starts, we would start the left turn lane work, and that's what we're coordinating with New York State DOT. That's about a 4-month process for the left lane work. And once both of those are completed and the new bridge is commissioned, we would start the modifications to the existing bridge. So that's been presented to DOT for their approval. I don't think that we're going to get an approval, but it's been submitted to DOT. They would approve that in their permit process as part of the entire permit. One of the questions was asked if we could provide some illustrations of what is this bridge going to look like. So this is a steel span bridge. The new bridge will be a steel span bridge. This is not the bridge, but these are images of what the bridge would look like. So we provided those samples, and then we also provided some samples of bridge design so that you had it. I think that addresses, okay, so lastly is what are our action items? As we move forward with site plan approval, of course, this board can't grant site plan approval until seeker is completed by Clinton. It's a very unusual project for us in the town of Hyde Park. But we want to get ahead of it and just talk about 2 waivers that we would be looking for site plan. The first is a tree survey. So I think the planner had brought up whether or not, or maybe that was Tad had brought up whether or not we had completed a tree survey for the portion of the work that's being conducted here. And so we're asking for a waiver of that. We did provide the existing trees on site. There are minimal trees that are being removed for the construction of the new emergency bridge. So we're, if the board would consider that. And then the second waiver that we're asking for is, it seems unusual to ask this, but in the code, it requires that any structures that are within 500 feet, we have to provide the grade elevation and the height of those buildings. The only building that is within 50 feet of us is a building that we own, but we're just asking that that not necessarily have to be provided. So those 2 waivers we're asking for. We are working very closely with the Town of Clinton Planning Board to try to wrap up seeker. And of course, we're interested to find out if there's any additional seeker-related items that this board is looking for or that the consultants are looking for. It appears that you have quite a few letters that you have to write in the next few days, so we aren't looking for a letter. I think we're just looking for a discussion from this board. Bonnie's office is the consultant in the town of Clinton, so I think just having some acknowledgement from you that you're satisfied with seeker would be more than sufficient. We think we've answered all of the questions that you had asked for, so happy to answer any more if you have any.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Okay. But that is the $64,000 question, is how do we close seeker?
Yeah, and you, this board, well, I'll leave it to your attorney, but this board doesn't close seeker, but the town of Clinton will close seeker.
Right.
They just need some acknowledgement that you're satisfied.
Okay, so yeah, we'll talk about that. Ms. Moss, any comments on this?
I haven't reviewed the materials that have been submitted. I recall that when the bridge was washed out in Irene and Sandy, that we had to do a floodplain development permit associated with it.
Sure.
And I was just wondering, has any additional floodplain been identified, or has it been worked on at all?
Well, the area is shown on the plan, but no.
Okay.
So all of those studies would be completed. Once we're through seeker,
Okay.
we'll start all of those studies and then the bridge design.
Okay.
Anything else? Okay.
Nope.
Ms. Franson, how do we close out seeker?
So, as you said, Seekers is being led by the Clinton Planning Board. And so I think you're trying to get a sense of, is there any other issues out there
Right.
that has to get resolved?
In Hyde Park.
In
Yeah.
Hyde Park
Right.
specifically. I would just like whatever was sent to SHPO to generate that letter, because I had indicated that the area of potential effect hadn't covered the bridge, the new bridge area. So I know you sent something off, which is
Sure.
what generated the letter, but if we could get the, what did you
Absolutely.
send off? So we
Yeah, and
know
that was Beth Selig, so she provided the mapping that shows the area of the bridge and sent that to SHPO with a narrative just explaining that we had done the SHPO before
Okay.
that bridge was added, and it was added after the fact.
Okay.
She provided a narrative of all of the shovel tests, and it was her opinion that she didn't feel as if there was any additional studies that were warranted, but if SHPO wanted additional shovel tests, she would do that.
Okay.
And then they came back with this letter, so we'll provide you with that documentation.
Thank you. And then, this is something I defer to Pete on, but I had asked the question, to what extent are any kind of flood analyses, hydraulic analyses tied to seeker versus something that's done at the site plan stage? So again, I defer to Pete on that in terms of what's needed from a seeker perspective, but that was the other thought I had. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Sotero.
Pete?
You.
So, our office is also reviewing it on behalf of the town of Clinton, and in fact, they were supposed to appear last night at the Clinton Planning Board to go over like a couple things, but because of, the weather, that was canceled. So they were already scheduled for the December 17th meeting, like in Clinton. So, in terms of, and there were some emails that were going around about, the bridge design and the floodplain-like permit, and my opinion is that it's not a seeker issue, because it's really just like a black and white issue. So as part of the floodplain development permit, both here in Hyde Park and in Clinton, similar to what we did on the Crofton Muse project, they'll have to do a HEC-RAS analysis of, the creek and the waterway opening of the proposed, bridges has to be sized such that it does not have an impact on the current limits of the floodplain and the elevations of the floodplain, both upstream and downstream of the project. So it's a black and white issue. Either they do it or they don't get a permit, and they don't have a project. So, and they can do it. I mean, it's just a matter of sizing, the bridge. So, in my opinion, I don't believe that it's, a seeker issue. So I don't know if the board has anything else that might be a seeker issue, but I guess that's what Kelly's here for tonight. But as far as that, I don't believe it's a seeker issue.
Are you seeing anything that rises to a seeker issue on the little street?
Not like here,
Okay.
not here in, Hyde Park, again, because most of the work
Right,
is in
'cause-
Clinton.
yeah. All right, thank you.
And the town of Clinton is working through methodically to make sure that all the i's are dotted and the t's are crossed, and so, but in terms of here, I mean, I don't see anything in Hyde Park, but that's just me.
Okay. Ms. Heldman, thank you so much for coming tonight.
Oh, yeah, thank you for having me.
Welcome to Hyde Park.
Thank you. I actually live in Hyde Park.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go.
It's a great area. Yes, so I'm just wanting to say that this board actually does have discretion whether it would like to communicate with the town of Clinton if it has any seeker issues.
We have to what?
You have discretion. Like, you don't actually have to communicate with the town of Clinton. if you're not ready, or, if that's not something that you feel is, something that you would like to do. So you have discretion, just to let you know that that is the perspective of, the attorneys.
Thank you. And why, again, this is so different. Does it help? What does it offer if we do?
It's really more in favor of the applicant, I think, and just their procedures. I would say that if you aren't confident about your analysis of the issues under seeker, then I would not communicate, just because, you want to be confident, and there really isn't like a rush to do that if you're not done with your review.
Okay.
Well, I just want to follow up on that, and that I understand that if you're not ready, but I think that some discussion with the town of Clinton, meaning either some discussion here that Bonnie can take back to the town of Clinton, not necessarily a motion, but we're looking for some acknowledgement of, is there anything else, so that we can just go back to Clinton and say they don't have anything else.
Well, I was going to say, how does Clinton then go through and their big checklist, they would have to check Hyde Park off the list, right?
Yes, but they're reviewing, they're reviewing the bridges, they're reviewing the wetlands. So, they're reviewing it, but they need some acknowledgement, this is your town, and they need some acknowledgement of whether there's any additional items that you want them to look at.
Okay.
Yep.
Our silence on that issue would be an answer of a sort, right?
So no response, right, no response is a response, but I think it's, I don't think it's effective communication.
No. Yeah, I agree.
It leaves them guessing, right?
Yeah, it leaves all of us wondering, like, where are we on this?
Yeah.
And we're all trying to work together on this project.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think about seeker and just doing lead agency, you get a comment
something
later
back.
that says, yeah, you can be lead agent.
Yeah.
You can,
Yeah, like no response is a response. It's not a great response.
Right.
Doesn't help.
And all the agencies usually respond.
They do, yeah.
They don't go, oh, we don't want to respond to that one.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
And
All right.
and there is a bridge and there's a driveway, and they're looking for your opinion on.
Right. And what you've shown us tonight is that Clinton has been working with the DOT and the DEC.
Correct.
And I would assume they're looking at bridge plans.
Oh, yes, we have volumes and volumes and volumes of data. And along the bridge issue and the HEC-RAS, which Pete is talking about, everything we've been giving to Clinton, by the way, is getting delivered to you. So I know it's a lot of material, and unfortunately, you're getting it because we think it's appropriate that you get it, but it is related to Clinton.
But it helps us to see the whole picture,
It
to see
does.
if there is anything
It
that
does.
we should be
Yes.
thinking about.
But I just
Yes.
wanted to bring a letter to your attention, is that Creighton Manning is the bridge design engineer. And so they did provide a letter that is a summary, exactly what Pete had said, of what's required. And so if we don't meet it, you're not going to get a permit. But they put it into a
Right.
3-page letter so that it's documented that this is what we need to do.
Right. And, we've just recently had another project where we did have to evaluate a bridge.
Yeah.
But it was all in our court. We weren't.
Yes.
We weren't waiting for somebody
Someone
else.
else,
So, yeah,
yes.
okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
If I
That
could
helps.
just add, I'm sorry, if I could just add one last thing. So what the applicants were going to present to the Clinton Planning Board last night was, the Clinton Planning Board had asked, in terms of the wastewater treatment plant, so they're proposing a wastewater treatment plant that would discharge to the Crum Elbow.
Mm-hmm.
So several of the Clinton Planning Board members said, well, isn't there an additional like alternative? Why can't you do like a subsurface septic system on site? Why do you have to go discharge to the creek? And that's a very good question, because that's something that they wanted to know before they made a secret determination. So they did a evaluation. They were going to present it last night. It will be presented. So, and because the discharge of a sewage treatment plant to the Crum Elbow, a very important stream, adding another sewage treatment plant is a concern to everybody. So they're going to present that analysis. So, and again, that could be, that could be one thing that this board was concerned about, discharge of a sewage treatment plant to, the Crum Elbow, but that's something that the Clinton Planning Board has already
like brought up in their
Okay.
address.
Okay.
So they're, I wouldn't say overreaching, but I think the point is that the Town of Clinton Planning Board is really looking at the project as a whole, not just the limited portion that's in Clinton. They're cognizant of it.
Yep. Ms. Moss?
I was just wondering if there's a proposed location for the discharge?
Yes. Yes.
And is it along our stretch on the
Well,
other
it's-
side?
It's on the Clinton side of the Crum Elbow Creek.
On,
Yes.
between the bridges, or?
It's on the south side of the existing bridge.
So yes, between the bridges. then.
Yes,
Yeah.
between the two bridges, yes. And we've received the just like the other project, I think, in the town of Hyde Park that just received a permit. We received the effluent limits from DEC, and they're obviously stringent. It's an AT stream, but DEC permits it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other comments, Ms. Feldman? No, thank you. Mr. Tuttle?
I think just two things. On the letter, I appreciate Ms. Feldman's perspective there that this is a sensitive project, and writing a letter on seeker for this sort of stuff. We just got to make sure we're thorough about this and ready to send it. But I do. It's professional, and we should be sending something at the end of the day. Is my perspective on it.
Yep.
The two waivers that you requested, I think the structure one makes complete sense to me. The tree measurements seem a little more applicable to this situation, and my inclination would be to say that that's something that should be included. Can you describe a little more what your hesitation is on doing that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that maybe what we want to talk about is limiting the tree survey to just the area of the disturbance and not having to do the entire 8 acres.
Yeah, okay.
So if we're just talking about the area where we're disturbing and identifying those trees, so
Great.
if that's reasonable to the board, then
That's
I think
reasonable to me. Yep.
that's entirely reasonable.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Okay.
Yep. That's all I got.
And where was the 8 acres?
The 8 acres is the whole site, so
Oh,
doing a tree
the
survey
whole-
of the whole site seems senseless, but doing a tree survey of the area where we're proposing to put the new emergency access bridge seems reasonable.
Yeah, maybe a slight buffer around the disturbance
Right.
area.
Yeah,
but
just to
not-
show
not-
those.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Okay.
What's like, I don't know, 50 feet or something?
Yeah, I was just going to say that because if there is a tree that you want to avoid, they may need to shift it, so then that's why you need the buffer.
Right.
To see what might be there.
Yeah, I mean, I think in this scenario, there's not much shifting, that there's some more driving forces, but yes, we can show trees on the
Certainly there
adjoining.
are some other considerations
Yeah.
here as well,
Yes.
but thank you.
Is that something that a site visit might be good,
I think it would be fantastic.
right?
Yeah.
Because we could take a look.
Mhm.
So is the, something we could discuss is if we do that, but the extent to which things are staked out or clear as to where things are
Very
going
much
to
so.
go? Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
yep, and I'll be there, so I can walk you through it.
Okay. It's always helpful to have the stakes. just-
Yes, yeah, they're all still there.
Okay.
Ah, excellent, all right. Can I borrow them? Yes. Thank you, Mr. Tuttle. Mr. Waters?
Yes, Dylan asked the question I was, that, is there a buffer around that area where the road and the potential bridge is going? Because if it has to shift just to avoid something that's a 150-year-old tree or something that you want to keep, rather than cut it, because we've experienced this at this board on a bridge project where they clear cut a lot of stuff. And when I saw that, I nearly threw up. So, the minimal disturbance, obviously, but if you could shift something to save something that's
Okay.
historical of nature or has specific meaning, then that's perfect.
Okay.
That's my only real thing with the whole thing.
Okay.
Because where the bridge goes, they're gonna have to do structure, place the bridge. It could shift
Yeah,
a foot, 2 foot to save something.
understood.
What are your thoughts on writing a letter to the Clinton Planning Board?
Yeah.
Once we've done our poking.
Yeah,
around.
I would have no problem, because I think it's the right thing to do, because no answer means like you either don't care or it's like we're not for this. So I think you definitely have to, and that again is the working relationship with the other town, because they're looking out for our interests as well as we're looking out for theirs.
Yep.
And so maybe.
And now we're seeing everything that's
teamwork.
being
It's a
presented and
teamwork.
signed off, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
Agree.
teamwork
Yep.
thing, and
Yep.
that's the prudent thing to do.
Agree.
So.
Thank you. Ms. Wasser?
I support that we should send a letter for the reasons mentioned. Nothing else.
Okay. Mr. Oliver?
I am also in favor of sending a letter, and just regarding our involvement with the context and the scale of the project and the little piece that we're looking at, I personally don't see any secret issues, and I do have a pretty good feeling that the town of Clinton is doing a very thorough and extensive review of secret findings.
Excellent. Ms. Lee?
I also agree about sending a letter and the disturbance only for the trees. And Kelly, thank you so much for being organized. Your presentations are always a breath of
Thank
fresh
you.
air,
I
especially
appreciate
when
that.
it's late.
Yes.
So thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would agree.
I
This was
appreciate
nice.
that.
Very
Thank you.
detailed.
Thank you very much.
Detailed, but
Succinct.
Yeah, thank
Yes.
you. That's
Yeah.
the
To
word.
the point.
Short and sweet.
Mr. Gercio?
I agree with sending the letter, and I have no other comments.
Okay, great. Good. At least I know where people stand, so that,
Very
I
well.
agree, and I agree also. So we should talk about a site visit. Whoever wants to come, I would love to go because I actually know that area really well,
Good.
but I haven't been there in a while.
So to the extent that we would be walking on the road, just if everyone brings, or, I've seen you at site visits on Route 9 before with some protective yellow jackets or something, if we're going to be walking on the road. If you want to walk down to see the other location of the bridge.
Bright, DOT colors, you mean?
Yes, but we can pick a date.
Okay, good.
High vis.
There was a, did we get comments from the county on this?
Yes.
Was there? It was like landscaping or something, right? What do you mean, right?
They had asked about landscaping. Right now, we've left it where it's just showing as it's being seeded. I think that, we would consider adding landscaping there, but it is right on the road, right on 9G. So we can kind of go through that as part of the site plan process.
Yep.
This, normally when I'm before this board, we kind of do seeker and site plan at the same time. But
Sure.
in this scenario, we're really kind of making a
Segment
cut.
here, bifurcating.
So if you need to do the site plan visit for seeker, I'm happy to do it as soon as we possibly can. But if it's really for purposes of site plan, we can relax a little bit and pick a date if it's after the holidays or whenever you want to do that.
We're not going to, I don't think, see any secret.
So I think,
I'm
we're
not
kind
sure
of
of-
driven
yeah,
to
okay.
seeker right now to try to get this
Right.
over to Clinton so that they're
They can start moving on.
One less
Okay,
thing.
so now I need to just ask again.
My concerns are site plan related, not secret related.
That's what I'm hearing,
Yep.
right? And you already said that.
I have no secret
Okay.
concern.
All right, so there you go.
okay.
No site visit needed until
That's fine. And I mean, if
until
you
it's
want to do it,
really cold
yeah,
and it's really frozen.
I know. I mean, if you want to do it now, I'm happy to do it. I
Let's
have
just
no.
pick the least snowy, warmest day
Okay.
we can and do it whenever.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah,
We'll
you'll-
we'll look at the
display or
10-day
something.
forecast in January.
Yes, that's
and
perfect.
find
I'm always
something.
around that I'm available.
Okay.
Okay. Is there anything else you need for your seeker letter?
I guess that's what I'm not, haven't heard anything that, for seeker that.
Rises to the level.
Pete answered my question about the bridge. I was asking about the HEC-RAS, and he said, they're going to get their numbers, they're going to have, they have
to comply, yeah.
It's not like there's negotiation going
Right.
on. That was my only question.
It's
As far
objective.
as seeker went. So, I'm going to ask if the board would make a motion to allow me to write a letter to the Clinton Planning Board, letting them know that we have not found anything pertaining to seeker.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say
Aye.
aye.
Okay.
All right.
Are you saying not pertaining to seeker, or that you provided your seeker comments?
That we would.
That you've discussed it and
Right,
you
that it's
provided whatever you want to Clinton?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I don't know that it's that you didn't have any seeker comments, it's more that you
Everything that
feel
we've
that
looked
you've
at,
provided,
Yes.
the
everything-
town has provided you with.
Everything that we've looked at.
That's the
You
date.
don't require anything additional.
That there's no.
Yes.
That there's.
We have not seen any.
No negative impact.
Yes, we've not seen any negative impacts.
Seeker-related impacts to the town of Hyde Park.
Yes.
That you've reviewed it, you've considered it, there's nothing additional right now that needs to be.
That affect the town.
Yes.
The town of Hyde Park, correct?
I'm going to be picking your brain for this.
Okay.
Send it around, send it around.
For sure.
Yes.
If you can just maybe send me an email with that, that would be perfect. As you see, I like to kind of lift from when other people write
Delegate.
stuff.
I like
Yes.
the delegating, yeah. Okay.
And it's late.
So
Yes.
we, thank you for that discussion. We will work on the tree survey, so that's our real action item, and we will come back when Clinton has completed seeker. So I'm
Yep.
hoping that we'll be back in January. We'll get the amended site plan, and we'll address those additional items, and then when it's freezing, we'll go out and we'll do a site visit.
And it was just the tree section of that, just that,
And 50 feet.
yeah.
Yep.
Yes,
Whatever.
and not the
Yeah.
whole 80.
Yep.
Yeah, not the whole.
Do it.
50 feet was stated. I don't know if there's a best practice for that as far as like a buffer
That's
around.
probably reasonable.
Probably reasonable, right?
I think
Like
so,
that's-
yeah.
Okay.
And it's whatever is being disturbed in Hyde Park.
Correct.
That's the disturbance area.
The rest of the disturbance to the north, there's no trees.
Right.
Yeah, it's already disturbed, so, okay. All right, I think that's everything. Thank you.
Thank
Hopefully
you.
guys, oof,
Good
just-
job.
Just after 10 o'clock.
Almost, yep.
Hey, one more.
Okay.
All right, have a good
Thank you so
holiday,
much.
everyone, if I don't talk to you.
Yes, see you in
Thank
the new
you.
year.
Holiday.
Ah, there we go.
Thank you. It's nice to meet you too, and thank you.
All right, the next item on the agenda is a site plan waiver. This is approval of HVAC.
Okay, I've got it.
Excellent, thank you.
All
And
right.
thank you, consultants, we appreciate everything that you do.
Yeah, you
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Site plan waiver, Mark and Caitlin Nevin. So those, they were all here for the cupcakes. Resolution 2025-63. Whereas a request for site plan waiver has been made to the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board by Mark and Caitlin Nevin to install 2 central air conditioning units on the existing single-family dwelling at 4409 Albany Post Road. And whereas, now therefore be it resolved that the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board hereby waives site plan requirements for the proposed changes as described in the request for a waiver of site plan received by the Planning Department on November 20th, 2025, and the building permit application dated October 6th, 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. May I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody. Sorry,
Thank you.
another long night.
Couple of bangers.
Killing me.
So Bonnie bought
Planning for